Wait, this is so awkward. I said so much. I gave the most heartfelt speech. Hi guys. Okay, let's start over. Hi everybody. It's so good to see you. Hi Bibs. It's great to see you. Hi Love. Hi Melon. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi Anna. Hi Bunny. Hi Paige. Hi everybody. It's great to see you. We're starting from the top. Who does this? Who has audio issues in the first couple seconds of their stream? It's your girl B. Like, what else is new? Hi Amelia. Hi Blue Wave. Wow. Okay. Listen. No. You were just rehearsing. Yeah. That's exactly it. I just wanted to make sure it was perfect for you guys because you deserve it. Ooh woo. Hi friends. Let's see. First in chat today was our girl Paige. Paige gets VIP. Wait, Paige, do you already have VIP? I can't give you double VIP. But you got. Wait, you're not. Oh, maybe you've had VIP in the past. But you're back at it, baby. What audio issues? I don't remember any audio issues. I mean, technically, you guys didn't hear any audio issues. Because you didn't hear anything about that. Awkward. So, let's talk. So, since yesterday, right, we didn't have a cabbage. I'm here to inform you that we still do not have a cabbage. I don't think so. I've been a sub in the past. What the heck? I thought you were a VIP. Well, you know what? Paige, you're a VIP in my heart. And now you're a VIP in the chat, too. Look at that. Double fancy. Now you got that fancy diamond. Oh, whoa. So fancy. I like that heart. That's really cute, by the way, that emote. Okay, so let's do some catch up here because, I might have played a little bit. I might have played a little bit after stream and after having, like, my movie night with my roommates last night. And, what has changed? Well, I played till the end of winter, and I checked that traveling cart. Oh boy, did I check it. And no, we did not get cabbage seeds. Or we did not get red cabbage. But we did get cabbage seeds on the last day of the year. Like, what the heck? I was so close to completing the community center. We just needed the 3 apples. And we just needed our heckin' red cabbage. But, I got seeds, so I did plant it. Also, this afternoon, I might have gone a little hard and started putting in some paths. Who is she? New farm? It's the same farm. It just looks a little nicer. Also, I figured out how to zoom out the camera, and I think it looks a little nicer. Somebody mentioned yesterday that it looked really zoomed in, and yeah, you were right. You were totally right. But, hi, Mike Tron. Good to see you. So here's our wee baby cabbage. It's still growing, but she'll be here in time. Oh my god, I can't wait. And then we'll finally finish the community center. That's the goal for tonight, guys. We're gonna finish the community center. We are so close. I paid off all of the bundles, so I came up with the 35,000. So we still have 13,000 left over. I'm not really sure what I want to do with that. Like, am I gonna go upgrade my house next? Should I save for that, or should I upgrade a barn? Or add the fish pond? Like, what do you guys think I should do? I am at a loss. Oh, we have our apples, by the way. Our tree is producing fruit. Adri, hi friend, it's good to see ya. Yeah, our tree is producing fruit. We have honey now. I made another bee home. We've got some crops out here. We've already had a harvest of garlic and parsnips. I'm gonna go to the store and buy some more. Keep those going. I upgraded my bag. Guys, so much has changed. Who is she? I went a little hard, okay? I'm back with sour cream and onion, corn puffs, and peach. Holy smokes, that sounds so good. I love sour cream and onion. Sour cream and onion and sea salt and vinegar are like my favorite kinds of chip flavors. I don't think I've ever had like corn puffs though. That flavor. That sounds really good. Peach juice sounds awesome too. Oh my goodness. Girl, I'm jealous. I have some tea that I'm sipping on. Trader Joe's? Oh, I gotta go check it out next time I'm around at Trader Joe's. I used to have a Trader Joe's like in my neighborhood. Like, oh my gosh, one of my apartments that I lived in, I could literally walk across the street to a Trader Joe's. It was amazing. But now I'm several hours away from one, so next time I am over near one, I'm gonna pick some up. Oh, it's country peach. Yum. Oh, that sounds so good. I'm sipping on some tea. It's called stress relief tea. And it has like lavender in it, and it's, ugh, it smells so good. Tastes great too. Okay, so check this out. I got like a little sign to my fruit cave, and then I planted oak trees along the side here. So there should be. I know I can plant them a little bit closer, but I kind of like having like the bigger spacing between it. I think it'll just look nice. So that's what I did. I really need to upgrade my pickaxe. I still haven't upgraded even once. Maybe I'll do that today because I have the money for it. Oh, no, not the OSHA violations. Oh, that sucks. Well, hopefully they get it together so you can keep going and get their quality goods. Oh my gosh, what are my go-tos at Trader Joe's? They have these scallion pancakes in their frozen section that I really like. I always feel like they have really good produce there. Like, that's where I did a lot of my grocery shopping, just for produce. They've got like some good like gluten and dairy-free options, which is nice. Made it really easy to shop there. Ooh, I can get some wool. That would be kind of nice. Hello, how goes the adventure? Oh my god, Dream. I have made so much progress since last night. Like a stupid amount of progress. Ooh, the retro catalog. Ugh, I wish. Ooh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, big fan, big fan. Like little cuties or like the Satsuma, like the tiny oranges. I love those. Oh, Mayor Lewis. Does anybody know what Mayor Lewis likes? Like, what is one of his loved items? Because it's his birthday, and I feel like I gotta get him something nice. That's just, like, the best way to get your experience up with somebody. Let me bribe you on your birthday. Peppers! Oh, I've got plenty of peppers. Oh, that's great. Easy peasy. Okay, friends. Let's talk really quick. I've got a couple of goals that I want to accomplish for this stream today. I want to fix this situation. Like all of these random boxes and stuff. This is just not doing it for me. This looks like a mess. I would really like to put a storage shed right here. I think that would be nice. And then I can put all these boxes in there and organize it a little bit better. Yeah, I would like to do that today. I want to move this well too. Like it's kind of in a weird spot. Yeah, what else do I want to do? I don't know, maybe I'll upgrade my house for the final time. Like, we can do that. 7,000, and I think I have more than enough wood. That's a lie. I need more wood. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll get more wood. House upgrade is on the menu then, I think. Let's do it. House upgrade and figure out this. What a mess. Oh, I should turn my milk into cheese. That makes much more money. Did you finish the mine? I did! I made it to floor 120, you guys! Oh, I'm so excited. I had like 2 really good luck days, and I flew through the last 20 levels of the mine super quick. Oh, we could do Skull Cavern today. I've never done it. I'm gonna need thoughts and prayers, and just believe in me. I'm a little scared. It sounds like fun, but I don't know. I'm a little worried. Yeah, I've got the bus running. House upgrade is 65,000. I thought it was 20. What am I thinking of? Am I thinking of the coop? Do I want the coop then? Do I want to upgrade the barn? 65,000? What do you think what happens when we die? Oh God. Nothing. We just cease to exist. We come back as spooky ghosts. Our energy bodies enter the astral plane. Interesting. Listen. I don't know what to say. Oh, Lewis. Hello, birthday boy. I've been mayor for 20 years. Okay, good for you, man. No one ever runs against me when it's time for election. I think that means I'm doing my job well. Is that what that means? Is that what that means, sir? Whoa, dang. Got a good handful of people up to 6 hearts. It's pretty nice. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. And then I look down here and I'm like, oh, hi, Sandy. I just met you. And then Pierre. And well, Kent just arrived. Okay. So like really Sandy and Kent make sense. But like the rest of them, sorry. I forget that Alex and Willie exist. That said, guys, I do have to show you something. Let's see if we can find Alex, because I found the greatest mod known to man. Oh my god, is that Ariel in my chat? What up, girlfriend? How you doing? Mass in chat too? Hi, friend. Excuse me? So good to see you guys. But I'm not your mod though. What the French toast? Is that... bonjour toast. I'm sorry, I stole your joke. It's great. Hi, friends. Guys, I wasn't ready. Okay, here, look. Why? Wait, hold on. This is cursed. I actually don't know what to say about this. This looks like a Barbie. It's supposed to be a mod to show pictures of Troy Bolton. From High School Musical. Whenever I talk to Alex, he's supposed to be, Troy Bolton. And apparently he's over there getting his head in the game, so, and he looks like a Barbie doll while that's happening? Yeah, definitely nightmarish. I am confused. Hopefully he'll come out of his room and then we can see, Troy Bolton, Alvin Spectre. But that's not Troy, that's Princess Diana. What? Not our beloved princess. She's like shirtless in that picture too. This is very concerning. Not the people's princess. Oh boy. This is just a lot to take in right now, honestly. Evelyn. What up, girlfriend? How you doing? She's so cute. Okay, well, okay. Hopefully we'll see him later in all of his glory. She might not forgive you if you give her horseradish. She can sing Bet on It. Wait. Bet on it, you can bet on me. The song is such a bop. How would you rank the High School Musical movies? Ooh, okay. High School Musical 2 is the best one. Easily, by far, best soundtrack. That's, and then probably, okay, I'm gonna go... 2, 1, 3, and is purely one for nostalgia. Candy! Oh my goodness, Candy, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much for the raid. Everybody coming in from Candy Stream, hi. My name's Nicole B. It's so nice to meet you. If you like puns and positivity, you're in the right place. I'm a variety streamer. We are playing Stardew Valley. We're in our 2nd year, just in the very beginning of spring. So not a whole lot is happening right now. Just trying to make some cash money so I can upgrade my house. I modded my game a lot, just aesthetic reasons, you know, like, you know, making Alex look like Troy Bolton from High School Musical, and making myself look like a fairy. I'm in the process of kind of switching over to being a PNG tuber. My art isn't finished yet, but I do have like cute little chibi art in the meantime as our placeholder until that totally comes to fruition. But yeah, that's what's going on in my life. What's going on with yours, Kendi? It's so good to see you. I'm gonna give you the biggest shout out. Guys, if you're not following my friend Kendi, please give them all the love. They are the best. Wait, you're playing Bloons? What is Bloons? Tell me about it. Wait, is that the game with like monkeys? If I'm totally off base, that's gonna sound like the strangest question. I feel like my brother plays this game. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I losing it? Yeah, anyways, we're at... You caught us talking about High School Musical like we do. Balloons, yes, the monkey pop balloon game. Okay. Okay, then I did remember correctly. Yeah, my little brother plays this game. He's really into it. But there's tower defense ones. Maybe that's what he's been playing. That's cool. Oh my gosh, were you playing the tower defense version of it? That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I'm so deep into Stardew again. Like, I think I've played 80 hours of this in the last like 2 weeks. Like that's a full-time job. Like that's a lot. I don't have a problem. This is fine. This is totally fine. Everything's fine. Okay, Sunday, going to bed. Remember playing balloons in high school? That's cool. It's still around. What? How have I missed this? Oh, I got a new I got a achievement for shipping 300 of the same. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then I was like, I want OG balloons, so I swapped to that. Oh, that's cool. Wait, so what's the OG balloons versus like a tower defense? Oh yeah, new achievement. No big deal. Wow, look at her. She's growing up so fast. So, okay, if I'm not going to be spending a lot of the time in the mine, like, trying to get down, well, I mean, like, I need to go in there and, like, get resources and stuff, but, like, does my, luck impact other things in the game outside of just, like, going into the mine? You just throw darts and pop balloons. Wait, that sounds like fun. Like, an arcade style balloon popping game. I literally just discovered Club Penguin is still around. No way. Guys, Gaia Online and Neopets are also still around. Like, alive and thriving. Ooh, Shane wants some red mushroom. Yeah, we got extra. Yes, impacts the items you dig up as well. Oh, cool. Okay. So, like, on good luck days, am I more apt to find things that I haven't donated to the museum? Like, versus trash or something? Well, I mean, you don't dig trash, though. What do you get that's not so great? I mean, you always feel like you get good like a stones, maybe? Calling all paleontologists. I need 100 pieces of bone. Oh. We could do that. We can go into the mine and go get some bones. Yes, usually. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, it's a bad day. What is this? Is it gonna be stone? Oh, dried starfish. I do already have that one. Double starfish? Also, Wizard 101. Okay, this is gonna sound so silly, but I never played Wizard 101, but I saw the commercials for it, and like as a kid, I was like, that's a scam. Like, I don't know, my little child brain was like, yeah, I don't know about that. Is that really a game? I feel like I'm just trying to get scammed here. Clay, not so great. Fair enough. Until you need clay and you're out of it and then you can't find it for the life of you. Ask me how I know. Yeah, but I never played Wizard 101 and I'm like, wait, a video game about wizards? What was I thinking? I'm a fool. That sounds like fun. I went to PAX West last year and they had a booth in the indie hall for Wizard 101. Which is crazy. Alright, cool. Well, I have some stuff that I can go sell. Some foraging. Oh, there's Kent. I've only talked to him one time. It was because it was his birthday. I'm upset because it used to be a majority free game, but it's so much pay to play. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. I hate when they do stuff like that. My mother definitely has a problem with going to the saloon too much, but it's best not to dwell on bad things, right? I think it's good to be realistic. I mean, fair enough, yeah. Maybe you're right. It's better to cope with reality. Oh, poor girl. She's so cute, Marnie, but like, girl, get back to work. I gotta buy things from you. Back in the day when my animals were starving and she wasn't there. Okay, I do need to buy more seeds because I have a couple of sprinklers that are just watering the ground with nothing to grow. What did I have there before? I think I had a bunch of garlic and parsnips. I'm gonna get 16 more parsnips because they grow pretty fast. You know, yeah, I've been thinking about that recently. Like a lot of like free-to-play games and like their longevity, like Palia, I really worry about it because it's a free-to-play game currently, but you can buy cosmetics, but they've had big layoffs recently. So like I'm worried like maybe they should have more of like a pay-to-play option, like maybe not a subscription fee, but maybe they should have like charged for base game or something. Or, like, there's got to be a way to make more money from it if they want to continue the game. Like, I really worry about it. The game is so cute. I think it had a lot of good potential, but oh no, I didn't mean to plant the acorns in there. Oh, fine, whatever. We will rebuild. Paley laid off like a third of their team. It's scary. It's super scary. That game is so good. It's such a shame. Oh, I thought I only had 2 sprinklers available. Okay, we gotta go back and buy more seeds. Yeah, Kendi, have you been playing it? I played a lot when it first came out. And I haven't really played so much since, but they have so many cute updates and stuff. I really want to, but then like stuff like that kind of discourages me, which is, you know, I should be the opposite. Like I should, you know, want to support it and help keep it going. I did pop on and buy the fairy wings though, because hello. Oh my goodness, Burger, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? I am doing so good today. Today's a great day. We're in year 2. And how do you do too, Senor or Mademoiselle Burger? I got into it 10 in February because the Lunar New Year event was super fun, but then it ended and I liked the farming, but I couldn't get that much into the rest. Yeah, I feel that. I was like super driven by like the whole idea of like your Shep and trying to romance somebody. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna romance Tish. She's gonna be my wife. I love her. And Kamala, she is going to be my Shep. I love her too. She is such a cool, like, witchy mama. Hello. Okay, what do I want? Do I want more garlic? I feel like garlic is something that I should grow because I feel like I could use it in a lot of cooking. Rice. Plant these in the spring. Takes 8 days to mature. Grows faster. Planted near a body of water. Harvest with the scythe. Ooh, I should do that. Wait, if I plant it near water, do I still have to water it though? And can I plant that in the, how do I do that? So I should like plant it by the river or something? I do have like a body of water in my area. I wanted wreath because I wanted someone to make me food. Yeah, fair enough, right? No, it waters on its own. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's great. Okay. I should get a lot of it then because I don't have to worry about it. 16. Yeah, I will do that. I'm going to get some more of the rice because I feel like there's a lot of recipes I can make with it too. Wow, look at her go. She is just... El Burgerino is fine. Beautiful. Love that. Busy day. I'm gonna lurk and finish up some chores. Oh, lurk away, my friend. Please enjoy your time here. I appreciate the lurk. I do the same thing. I always have to have like some sort of background noise when I'm doing my chores. It keeps me way more motivated. You don't need to water the rice when planted by water. Oh, I love this. Also, Hyla Certe. You guys are the best. Because if I was playing this on my own, I'd be like, Stardew Wiki, Stardew Wiki, Stardew Wiki. Also, am I the only one who thinks Tish has those crazy eyes? Okay, but if she has the crazy eyes for me, it's okay. It's okay. It's, as long as they're just for me. I feel like I'm gonna meet those crazy eyes with my own crazy eyes. Okay, is this like close enough to the water? Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. What the heckin' hecky? Are you kidding me? This is great. Oh, rice work, you guys. Oh, now I need to find like a lot of space for it. Is it just one space or can I have like a couple of them by it? Like if I were to make like a grid, can I plant some next to it? We'll find out. Oh, baby. Game changer. Game changer. Sorry, I'm very excited about this. Can you tell? You know, I was really excited that they made romanceable in Palia is the carpenter, the dad. I was like, all these divorcees or like widowers and widows, like just not available for love. Like, come on, let them have a second chance. Let me love them. And I love that they did that. It's really cute. Also, his daughter is so cute. Like, I'll be stepmommy. That's you're so cute and cool and like an inventor. Like, it's wild. I love that. Okay, this is so nice. I should have bought more. Is rice very like? Am I gonna make a lot of money off of it? I kind of like the look of this, like going along the side rather than planting way out. Looks kind of cool. Oh, but him is perfectly fine too. Oh, appreciate it, Burger. Thanks. I appreciate it, El Burgerino. 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, nice. Okay, so I got some rice going on, which is lovely. Can make all the maki rolls. And then let's plant the other ones over here. I forget how much sells for, honestly. You know, fair enough. There are so many things to keep track of in this game. Oh, look at me being like, I don't have enough wood. 999. Okay, your girl is good. I do need to find... I have fertilizer somewhere. I thought I did. Okay, I got some. Perfect. Okay, lurk commencing. Have a good stream. Thanks, friend. I appreciate you. Have a good lurk. Okay, beautiful. You got some wood. You, Ariel. Whoa. You already know. Oh, wood, yo. Look at that. The bot is hitting on me again. Oh my gosh. Bell-bottom salsa. Just let potential hang out, okay? Holy moly. Buy him a drink first. So silly. Sorry, potential. The bot is a little out of control. Nice. Okay, things are looking good. Looking good. Have we talked to all of the aminals yet? Well, I haven't done anything with the animals. What am I doing? I'm slacking. Where are you? Oh, you're inside. Where are you? Oh, yeah, what? At least I made a dinner. Yeah, at least. What a flirt. Okay, excellent. Although I think that this place can carry up to 6, right? Or 8. It's 6. Okay. I was gonna say, I should just have another chicken. Have a little baby cheap. Nope, does not look like that is the case today, though. So, okay, this place is kind of a mess, but I was kind of thinking... I wish I could put more plots right here. Like, if I could tear this up and make it into more farming space, that would be ideal. But I think later, when I have the iridium sprinklers, I'm going to make these a lot more tightly packed, so there's more space so I can fit in another row. But I didn't have enough resources to make a bunch of sprinklers, so I thought, well, I'll just keep it like that. But like in these spaces here, I was thinking having like a ton of beehives and like have some flowers in between would be kind of nice. Eventually I'd like to have like a spot, have a little winery would be lovely too. I need to get that iridium though, but I think that requires to go to the skull cavern, right? And I have not done that yet. Ooh, this is kind of fun. I'm excited for this. So this has all of my oak trees. I want to do like a row like this for each of the types of trees and then put tappers on all of them. And then I was thinking like in this space could also just be more trees, like have that as like a forested area, or I could turn this into like slime hutch and pond. Could also be useful. I don't know. We got options. All right. Oh, I meant to sell them or turn the milk into cheese. That's what I should do. That makes way more money. I turned my quarry into a tree tapper farm. Oh, nice. Look at you getting quarried away. Oh, I should be making wine. What am I doing? There we go. Some blueberry wine. I eventually just want to make sure that like my well, okay, so I'm currently going for like a bunch of cranberries and blueberries in my greenhouse. So they're kind of staggered too. It should be nice. I should be able to get some fruit most days and make a good profit off of it. Blueberry wine, right? That sounds so good. Oh my gosh, I've only ever seen a few episodes of Parks and Rec and then like a lot of clips on TikTok because of it. And it's always so silly. I really should watch more of it. You're such a good neighbor. I thought you sent over some animal feed. Marnie, girlfriend, you shouldn't have. I mean, you should have. Like, you're one. I mean, what? But my animals were starving and you were closed. I mean, what? Well, I should grow some more potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in stew. You know what I mean? Yeah, know what I mean? The first season was slow, but everything was fantastic and had one of the best series finales for a show, in my honest opinion. Ooh. See, that's the thing, right? Like, if you're gonna get so invested in a show, and then they have a terrible season finale, How I Met Your Mother, like, come on. Come on. Okay, I'm glad to hear that it actually ends well, though. So I'm gonna put all that time and energy. I already have a rusty spur in there. Actually, what if I don't? I'm like pretty sure that I do, but it'd be embarrassing if I got rid of it and I didn't. We'll find out. Animals starving in this economy? Yeah, right? Never. Look how cute they are. I want to give them a bigger space though. I think I might end up moving my chicken coop. There is a pond and like the bottom left corner of my map that I think would be really nice. It would give them more space too. And like, I'm not really sure what to do with that area otherwise. I like how walking down here with all of the trees, this would also be nice to like fill it in and have a bunch of tree tappers there too. I keep thinking of how I want to decorate everything, but then like, I don't know, I think of winter and like how most things are seasonal. Like, I'd love to put flowers out, but they're going to be seasonal and then they're going to go away. The ducks will swim in the pond. So cute. My ducklings, when I first got them, they were swimming. Oh, hello? Sir? Ma'am? Madam? How'd you get out? Oh, because it's in the... Wait. Because it swam... Speaking of swimming in the pond, it probably went out that way and then... Wait, what do I do? Hello? Is this fine? How do I herd it back in? I'm stressed. I'm scared for this little baby. First thing is here is, how'd you get out? I have questions. Okay, Jess, listen. Listen, it's fine. Everything is fine. Wait, what is this? I'm not holding them captive. I'm just protecting them in an allotted zone, and they should never leave. In the nicest way. He'll make it back at night. It'll be okay. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jamie. I appreciate it. Poor little guy. Wait, you mean I could have them like free roaming around my property and it would be fine? They would all make their way back home? It would just make it harder to like find them and pet them though, right? What if I had an auto petter just like outside, like right here, and then I had all my animals free roam? Would they be fine? Is that the method? That sounds stressful. That sounds stressful, but it sounds free. Okay, I want to upgrade my pickaxe. I think this might be a good time to do it. And then I could spend some time getting more wood, maybe? Because I would like to clear some spots off on my property. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Also, hi, Jess. It's good to see you. You didn't even come in here and hit me with a dinosaur? What? Hello? Okay. Let's get rid of the eggs real quick. The eggs is precious. The potato. Beautiful. Let me put that in there too. I just have like random house decor and stuff. Oh wait, did I? No. I already did donate that. We're good. We're Gucci. Hello? There we go. Okay, I think I need one more. Jazz! Okay, that's one heck of a way to drop the dinosaur. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Fraggle. You're the best. We're taking
Dinosaur.
the hobbits to Isengard. Dinosaur. Thanks, homie. Oh my goodness. You're so good. I literally just got here and Twitch was like 8. I was insulted, listen. Oh no. Well, thank you, friend. Stretch and hydrate in this economy. Thank you. I forgot about my tea. Remember I was like talking about how excited I was about having tea? I forgot about it. And now it's cold. Well, it's just drinkable now. It was really hot when I started stream. Okay, I got the copper. Wait, I just want to make sure. Do I have any more geodes that I can bring and open? Organized. Geodes. Geode. Nope. Ooh, what kind of tea? It's the stress relief tea. It's all herbal. I can't remember exactly what's all in it, but it's really yummy though. I know lavender is in it. It's very sweet. Okay, I don't think I have any geodes there. Some of mine got so mixed up that I'm like worried that they're not in the right chests. I need to drink that, but by the gallon. Honestly, yeah, that's I feel you. I feel you. That's why I got it. Your girl has been very stressed. I don't know how to function not stressed though. Like, what is that like? It sounds lovely. It sounds mythical. Okay, anything else I can bring? Oh, I should bring wine for Leah. I did have some wine bottles somewhere. Blueberry wine and powder melon wine. So fancy. Oh yeah, look at the difference. Let's keep the bloob though. Sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna go to upgrade a tool. I really want to check out the Skull Cavern on stream today, but what's this? Topaz? Oh yeah. Get you topaz, we got plenty. I want to go to the Skull Cavern today, but I want to upgrade my pickaxe before we do that. Oh, I'm such a fool. I'm such a fool. I already upgraded my pickaxe with copper. I need to get iron for it. Oh, barnacles. I guess I could upgrade something else in the meantime. But like what? I'm not really using a watering can anymore. Oh, I went to all the trouble. I forgot that I did that. Okay, I need iron. It's like iron and 5,000. Okay, hopefully I don't need too many more. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, this is fine. Everything's fine. I needed it anyways. So. Okay, if I don't upgrade them today, that's okay. But we can drop off. Let's go drop off the red mushroom. And then the other one is a topaz. Cool. Okay, Willie and Shane. Which I can get both of those guys at the bar tonight, so that should be easy. She wants to place my appointment for my mental health. I'm like, wait, you have ideas and you've been withholding? First of all, how dare she? Hello? Okay, well, I will upgrade my tool tomorrow. Today, let's go drop off some gifts. I did bring wine for Leah, and I have a chocolate cake for Evelyn. And we can go drop off some of these things to the museum as well. I can't wait till I get to this point in the game where like everybody's hearts are up and I just have so much money and I'm just spending my days like leisurely walking around and talking to people, where I'm like, I need to min-max and, you know, make sure all my time is spent appropriately, and I don't want to miss out on any second of the day. But like, I just want to like hang out and talk to Evelyn, you know? She's so cute. Okay, so I heard that you can get a trash can hat by opening the trash can like 50 plus times, I think. Or after you like open the trash 50 times, then it'll drop possibly. So anyways, anytime I see a trash can, I open it. Just hoping for the day. Right, let's open some geodes. Oh, heck yeah, let's go. I made the mistake of playing the spooky version when I play this. I went into medical debt. Wait, what's the spooky version? Is that a mod? What does that mean? That sounds stressful. Do I have anything to donate? Oh my gosh, remember how I almost got rid of this and I was like, that would have been embarrassing. I was definitely thinking of this guy. Wow. I am glad that I did not sell it. Pumpkin seeds? Oh, cute. Okay, we should put those in our greenhouse. Absolutely. Okay, it's 4 o'clock. Oh, I can give Harvey a cup of coffee. That would be good. Okay, we already got that one. You get robbed at night. I kept ending up being robbed. Found and needed medical attention. Oh, yeah, like if you pass out too late. Is that what you're talking about? Like if you stay up too late past your bedtime and then you get robbed. Yeah, it's rough. That's rough, buddy. Okay, this feels so like weird to me, is that like, you know, I'm trying to seduce everyone in town, which means both Emily and Haley. Lol, hi friend, it's so good to see you. How you doing, homie? Okay, I'm waiting for everyone to show up. Space Goat Hunter, thank you so much for the follow. Nice to meet you. What an awesome username. I love that. My username on Neopets. Oh, what's a apricot? Oh, I have one of those. My username on Neopets is PNW Goat Mermaid. So, hello, a fellow. Well, you're hunting goats. You're not a goat. Oh goodness. As Dr. Nook says, I'm the Simpsons. Hi everybody. Oh my gosh. Hi Burnsy. How you doing? Good to see ya. Hello, hello. Oh yeah, of course. No problem. I need to see Harvey and I need to see Leah. I have presents. Oh, and Shane. Goodness, I have things to give to everybody. It's locked. Come on, pal. Come on. Where are you guys at? Oh, there he is. Are you almost done with community service? Dude, I am so close. All I have left, I just have to give the apples. I have all of the apples. We're just waiting for the red cabbage to be finished. Last day of winter, it was a Sunday. I checked out the cart the traveling cart, and she had red cabbage seeds for sale. She didn't have an actual red cabbage. So close. Hunter and WoW, a Draenei Space Goat Hunter. Oh my god, I should have known. Wait, I love that so much. That's so good. Hello. Also, it's great. I also play WoW. It's good to see ya. I love that. When can you plant them? I already planted them. I have them in the greenhouse right now. So it's only a matter of time. I am currently playing as a Void Elf Shadow Priest. That is my main character right now. And I love her. I just love everything about the Blood Elves. And then Void Elves are great too because I love Illyria. Just their story is just so good. It's so good. She sold me seeds too. I just planted them in my greenhouse. Dang, we were so close. Kurt Main as a Night Elf Hunter. Oh, let's go. Hardcore Night Elf Hunter. That's awesome. Wait, oh, what doing? A lover's quarrel. Uh-oh. Marty, we can't. If word got out, it could undermine my position of authority in the town. Sup, nerd? No you. Yeah, no you, Curb. Hi, friends. Oh my gosh. Alp, Curb. Hi, friends. Good to see you. You care too much about your job, Lewis. There's other things to life, you know. Yeah, like romance and Marnie. She's so cute. But yes, I understand. I guess we'll have to keep us a secret. Ha ha. Jig is up. I heard everything. I know you too, you lovers. I reached level 80 in the mines. Oh, that's awesome, lol. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell everyone. Ooh. Ooh, expose him. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This little weenie, like, come on. Grow up. Tell everybody about your love. Put it on display. She's the best. Marnie's such a sweetie. Just, yeah, I'm gonna tell everyone. I can't believe you would do that. You're terrible. No, you're terrible. You're hiding a secret. Why are you hiding there anyway? I honestly don't get why it's a scandal. Yeah, honestly. Uh-oh. Did I just like ruin my friendship with them? That was so dramatic. Wait, did I just drop hearts with them? Oh no. Oh no, we're good. Oh, we're fine. No one would care. Everyone would be like, oh my god, they found love. Lewis has a heart? What? What? Plot twist. That's crazy. Yeah, okay. It didn't drop down. We're good. Wait, where's Leah? I have wine for her. I have vino. I made her some blue wine. Would have been delicious. Yeah, that's crazy. The mayor loves someone. The cackle after asking if it ruined your friendship. Okay, listen. Ooh, juicy. Oh my god, guys, I am a harlot. Look at me go. I'm just seducing everyone in town. But I need to step up my game. Like, Sebastian and Elliot, I barely talk to them. As we all know, mayors cannot like other people. Absolutely forgetted. Not you saying vino. Listen. Listen. Oh my goodness, Nat, it's so good to see you. How you doing, friend? Nat, we have made so much progress so far. I got to the bottom of the mine. I have like nice paths in my town. It looks lovely. We're very close to finishing the community center. I have the apples. I'm just waiting on my red cabbage to grow. So goals for the stream. Finish the community center. Figure out like what this mess is. Like these I'll need to find a home. I would love to upgrade my house for the final time, but that's $64,000 and like your girl doesn't have that. Oh, I'm so excited to show you when it's daylight. It looks so pretty. Here. Let's do some sleeping and then I'll give you a little tour of the farm. I'm thinking maybe I should go get the fish ponds because that's a way that I can make passive income. Melon was telling me. So if I did that, then I'd probably be able to get to my goal of getting the house faster. Oh, was it raining today? Ooh. And spirits are happy. You also need 100 hardwood? Oh, I do have 100 hardwood already, guys. But I was thinking we could go do the, we could give it to the tree. There's a tree that's like south of here that, it like something happened in the storm and I saved up 100 hardwood. I saved it so we could do it together on stream. Oh, I have 97. Did I lie? Maybe I lied. I could have sworn I had more hardwood. Well, we can go remedy that. That's not hard. That's not challenging, that is. Where's the other hardwood? I really thought that I had more. You also need hardwood for after the community center is done. Not saying what for. Oh, shoot. Okay, Mel, in your humble opinion, should I hang on to the hardwood or should I go give it to the tree? Because giving it to the tree sounds like fun, but... Ooh. Vincent needs something. It's his birthday? What is Vincent like? Should I give him a cake? It's his birthday. Of course he'd like a cake, right? He likes pink cake and grapes. Oh, shoot. I think I do have a grape, actually. I think it might be in here. Oh, it's a blackberry. Oh, no. I gave it to the tree. 10 out of 10. Okay, okay. Let's give it to the tree. Blackberry. Where are the grapes? No grapes? Oh, no. It's Wednesday, too. I can't even go to the store and buy things to make a pink cake. Oh, this is embarrassing. I thought for sure I had a pink cake, but you know what? I have been giving them to my girl, Haley, so... Oh, wait, I might have one in the fridge. Because that's where cakes belong. I do not have one in the fridge. So you need 200 for the after the community center, and it opens up more, but the tree is also super cute. Oh, this is so hard to do. This is such a hard choice. Oh, Nat, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I've got some tea. I'll sip on it. Thanks for taking care of me. Also, chat, you guys should also hydrate and stretch. This is for everybody, not just me. Take care of yourself. Oh, Jordan, how you doing, friend? Good to see you. Welcome back. Plant all the mahogany seeds that you can. Ooh, okay, okay. Okay, but mahogany trees, does it just give me like the big stumps, or is it going to give me like really big trees? I got a layering white tee, little spring dress outfit. The outfit itself has tiny bees. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. No pressure. But if you wanted to post a picture of that in the Beehive Discord, I would love that. That sounds so cute. I'd love to see it. Okay, I'm overwhelmed. Okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? I need more hardwood. I need to plant mahogany seeds. I think I have some. Not there. This one. I only have 7 mahogany seeds. Goodness. Well, that's 7 more than I had already. So, 7 more than I currently have. Let's do that. I could plant the mahogany seeds in between these ones. I wish I was more comfortable wearing dresses because they're such a vibe. Cute summer dresses are my favorite. Yeah, big seam. Big seam. I love dresses because it's like, it looks like you put so much effort into getting dressed. But in reality, you didn't have to choose both pants and a shirt. It is such a hack. It's like, yeah, look how fancy I am. Joke's on you. I just didn't have to choose 2 pieces of clothing today. And I look so put together. So fancy. Okay, there's a seed. Perfect. Okay. Well, now I have a bunch of mahogany this way. So I should be able to cut them down later. Cool. Oh, goodness. Okay, we have 97. I need more hardwood. Shane! Shane, no! We talked about this. Remember? You remember? I'm sorry. Ooh, that's smart, Jess. That is literally what I'm wearing right now. I am wearing biker shorts and I got a cute little sundress on. Clearly you can tell that from my picture. See, underneath the little petal skirt is a pair of biker shorts. Biker shorts are great. Like, just in case, like, you catch a breeze and then woo. Also, sometimes dresses don't have pockets and my biker shorts do, which is lovely. Here's a chance to finally take control of my life. But I'm too scared, too anxious, just like, oh no, you're good. You're doing good. Your caution is green. Oh my gosh, Lowell, did you just get a red cabbage? Why should I even go on? Tell me. This stuff right now. Oh. Cass with class, thank you so much for the follow. It's so nice to meet you. There's so much to love you. Jazz, oh, Jazz needs you. Decision is your own. Just know that I'm here for you. Ah, what do I answer to him? What do I say? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like the fourth one, but also like Jazz one is like, ugh, ugh. Which one gives me the most points? Probably. No, I feel like, oh, he'd probably feel guilted. I don't want to guilt him, you know? This is about him, it's not Jazz. Yeah, you're right, Cass. You're so right. It is the least guilt trippy. It's that. It's like, I didn't come from the perspective of like guilt trip, more like perspective. Like, there are people who really care about you. I guess what I was thinking, but also it would be guilt trippy. And he's already down. And like alcohol so impairs your judgment too. He's going through it. This is about him though, and he's being taken care of. Aw, look at Harvey go. He's taking good care. It makes you earn the most points. Oh, thanks, Cass. I appreciate you coming in clutch. It's good that you brought him in though. Poor guy. It's terrible for the body, but right now I'm worried about his mental health. When he comes to, I'll have a chat with him about his treatment options. I know an excellent counselor in Zuzu City. Cute. We love full spectrum healthcare. That means physical and mental. It can be tough sometimes, but there's always a hope for a better future. You've got to believe in that. Aw, Harvey, you good egg? I need to give him more coffee. Okay, what do we need? We need hardwood. That is what we need. Because, look, there's a thing. Is it here? No, where is it? It's one of these trees. Nani? Is he here? Are you here? He's still got Big Pharma, so I got my eye on him. Darn right he does. Hey, but you know what? You know what? Maybe he's coming off the Big Pharma train, you know? You know? I completely forgot. We have to give Vincent a birthday present, you guys. Oh my goodness. Do you think he'd like chocolate cake? I know he likes pink cake, but like, oh, what if he just really doesn't like chocolate though? Okay, that could be embarrassing. What a terrible birthday gift. Oh, there's a mushroom. There's a couple mushrooms. Great. I'm doing really good today. Just having a good time hanging out and playing Stardew with you guys. Today I got a lot done at work. Felt really productive. He likes cranberry candy and grapes. How do you get cranberry candy? I have lots of cranberries. I don't have any grapes though. I looked through and I did not save any. I am a fool. Although I didn't check my fruit cave today, I might have some in there. Oh my gosh, please be lucky and get some grapes in the fruit cave. Would be great. Yeah, I don't know if I have a cranberries, apple, and sugar. Oh, shoot. I don't know if I have that recipe yet. I know I don't have any sugar, though, unfortunately. And it's Wednesday, so I can't even buy anything from the store. I am a fool. So I might have to just give him, like, a universal, like... Hello? How did I get in there? I know I can get in from the other side, but I can exit from that side? That's fine. Jade! It's so good to see you. How you doing, friend? Welcome in. No, you're so right, Cass. That would have been the big farmer response, honestly. Like, here's some meds. But, like, full spectrum healthcare, you know? He could definitely still get antidepressants from his psychiatrist, too. But at least he's able to talk to somebody about it as well. So, heck yes. That's great. Oh my glab, you're a beautimous fairy. Oh my gosh, Jade! You haven't heard the news yet. So I'm kind of venturing forth into the land of VTubing and PNG tubing specifically. Here, sorry, let me pause it really quick and I'm gonna show you a picture. I have another picture. Did I save it? Did I save it on here? Oh, barnacles. I might not have put it on here. I can find it. I can find it. It might be really. Oh, that's me. So that's me as a fairy, and then here's me as a PNG fairy. Where is it at? Where is it? Where are you? Are you hiding? It's hiding. Let me find a new one. I'll just pull it off of my computer. But yeah, I was thinking about it a lot, and I really want to stream more consistently. But I've been really sick lately, and I figured having like a PNG tuber would make it more accessible. So yeah, there's me. That's what my PNG tuber is gonna look like. But right now I've got a little chibi version. So yeah, see, there's me and there's me. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And you know, so far since just streaming with oh, you're so sweet. Thanks, you guys. You know, so far just like having the camera off and streaming like this. This is my second time streaming this week, and last week we streamed 3 times, and I had a movie night in the Discord on Monday, so it's already feeling a lot more consistent, which is super nice. Okay, we have 113 pieces of hardwood. Ooh, okay, let's go talk to the tree, and then we'll go check and see if we have any grapes, and if not, I will have to just give him like a daffodil or something. Do we know for sure if he doesn't like chocolate cake? Because I have like an extra one, you know? Okay, here we go. Let's fix up the stump. Excuse me? It's like a little fairy house. Excuse me? It's so cute. Hello? Anybody home? Oh, I hope somebody moves in soon. That's so cute. Oh, I love that so much. Oh, yeah, Jade, no, for sure. Like, it's so exhausting. It's wild how much of a difference it makes, like, not having a camera on versus having your camera on when you're streaming. It's just, like, an additional layer. And it really does get tiring. Like, I love it. Like, I love being able to, like, hold up things and show you guys and, like, being, like, really emotive and, like, extra expressive. And, like, there's, like, there's something, like, something special that comes with, like, streaming with a camera. But there's, there's also, like, a charm to not having it. And it's nice having the option, if I should not want to have my camera on that day. It's also, like, yeah, I don't know. It's nice. I'm glad that we have, like, some flexibility with that and, like, still are able to stream, Oh my gosh. Do I have enough inventory space? Hello? Oh, your girl's about to be rich. Some big cash money. I'm here for it. This is great. 3 apples just like that. Oh my, you guys. It's time! My cabbages! I did it! Ah! And then we have our apples too? Like, I literally just plucked the last 2 things off of it. Oh my goodness. Hello? It's both. We are playing 1.6, so there's like new stuff in it. Like that tree, this tree stump that we just had happen, that's part of the 1.6 update. I did add mods to it, but the only things that I've modded are like visual things. So there's like a different like color, and like the paths are like a different texture, but other than that I haven't added any like gameplay mods. Oh, except I did add this one where like it'll show you when it's somebody's birthday next to your money. Because I have really bad memory when it comes to people's birthdays, and I'm bad at checking the calendar, and I just didn't want to forget anybody. So that's been a game changer. Are you kidding me? Okay, there's blackberries, but are those red ones? Is that a salmonberry or is it a grape? Dang it, salmonberry. I thought we got so lucky. We did, in fact, not get lucky. That's okay. Let me see if there's anything else that we can give him that I have. Snail, nope. Cranberry candy, nope. Coconut daffodil frog egg. Neutral to everything else. Pink cake. Shoot. I swear to heck that I have a grape. There's gotta be a grape somewhere. I am running out of time, though. I do need to give him something, like, right now. Grape or cake? Come on, bee. Come on, bee. There's gotta be something here. Work with me, baby. Do you mind if I ask what you use to run mods on the game? The program I use doesn't have spot. Oh, Stardew mods. Yeah. It's called, the website is called Nexus Mods. And the program is called Smappy, S-M-A-P-I. I'll type it in chat for you. All of the mods on the website, it'll tell you what you need for it. I am working on a mod list too. I started listing some of them, but I want to like organize it by like what the mods are for. And I didn't quite finish. But I'll post in the Discord when I finish that up for everybody, because there's some really cool ones. Like, okay, I gotta show you the Alex mod. That's my favorite one. Shoot! Okay, I've been looking for cake. Did anybody see a grape? Oh. Dang it, I keep seeing blackberries. Just no grapes. Oh, I hecked up, guys. I done did hecked up. Yeah, I don't know what to give him. I don't think I have any daffodils. No coconuts, no frog eggs. I've got nothing. I could give him milk. Like, that's something that I might have to just give him a neutral gift. I guess that's better than, like, forgetting his birthday, though. Oh, yeah, no problem. Sorry, I totally started it. Oh, give him a pizza? Ooh, if you give a liked gift that is higher quality, it gives more points. Ooh, okay. I don't have any liked gifts at all. Give him pizza, though. Okay, I can give him a pizza. Pachoo. Pizza. So I have enough time. Oh, there's Alex. I gotta show you guys my Alex. Now that he's, like, you know, outside of the house, it should be funnier. I have no universal eggs. Oh my god, I went to the wrong house. I was like, where is he? This is weird. Oh. Not a cutscene! Let me talk to your brother! Oh wait, that's not true. I did have universal eggs. I had vegetables. I could have given him a vegetable. Vegetables are universal eggs. I was just thinking of I looked at his likes, not universal eggs. You're so right. I could have gone that route, but I am a fool. Okay, well, what child doesn't like pizza, right? Like, oh, they're starting a band, eh? Say, B, what kind of music do you like? Oh boy, these are all choices. I like pop music. I like rock. I like all the things. Hey, you know what? That's exactly the kind of style I've been thinking about for the band. Oh my god, Sam, be the next Taylor Swift. Pizza's universal, like, say for Elliot. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Perfect. Sebastian's like, why are you doing this to me? With my guitar skills and Sebastian's wizardry on the synthesizer, we're going to be a screaming success. I'm convinced of it. Now I just need to find someone to play drums. Good luck, homie. Get your little bro to do it. Oh, what up, Pops? Okay, where's the little man? Where's the birthday boy? I want to look for bugs, but Mom gets mad when I'm all dirty. Sir? I know it's 6:30 and you probably already had dinner, but, oh, heck yeah! It was exactly what he wanted. Psh, we knew. We knew. Aw, talking about Shane. Poor guy. Gotta get him a pizza, too. Thanks, Cass! Coming in clutch! Okay. Let's go let's go get rid of all this. Oh, let's open up the community center! Let's go do the community center, and then let's go sell stuff. And then go to sleep. Okay, so now that I'm finishing up the community center, are there things that are, like, super rare, and, like, you really want to keep your eyes out for with the traveling cart? Flirty Alex mod. Alex just gave me prismatic shard after the... What? Excuse me? Dang. Okay, pop off, Alex. I have a very cursed mod for Alex. I'll have to show you. A heater? Oh my gosh. I just bought heaters. This is fine. Everything's fine. Oh my goodness. What did I get? A seed maker? Perfect. Cursed mod? I'm up. Oh, Ariel, it's so good. You're gonna love it. You're going to love it. The last bundle. Wait, you already saw it. You already saw the cursed Alex mod. But you gotta see it in its full glory. Oh my gosh, you guys. We just completed the community center. Look at all the babies. Goodbye. No, don't leave me. You're so cute. Goodbye. No. No, come back. Little babies, you're so cute and good. Oh, this is so cute though. Look how cozy this is. I wish they would live with us. Yeah, for real. Surely we have to see them in other capacity in the game, right? Right. Wow, look how everything it looks so nice. No, Cass, I can't even. Okay, I have started over this game so many times. I have like started it over just so I could romance somebody else, and then like I forget about playing the game for a while, and then I come back to it like a year later and I'm like, I don't remember what I was doing. I should start over. Yeah, I'm terrible. So this is the first time I'm like really committing to a single file. And I'm really excited about it. There's gonna be so many things that I haven't seen. I'm glad I get to share it with you guys. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but my headphones are being weird. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Okay, much better. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I had like such fun just like starting new files. And also like the idea of like combat really wasn't really like my thing when I first started playing the game. But now I dig it. It's fun. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the heck out of this game now. Okay, I know I could have just like turned that into cheese, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna hang on to the morale. Ooh, I could definitely get more seeds tomorrow. That would be good. Oh, I need to put away this. Perfect. 'Cause wish granted! Oh my gosh, I get to see the babies again. Good, they're way too cute. Oh, let's go. We just made some serious cash. Here for that. You know, I used to be so excited for rainy days, but now I just wish it was nice and sunny out since I have sprinklers for everything. Oh. Hey, Shane. Oh man, how do I say this? I'm really sorry about what happened at the cliffs. That was embarrassing. Just happy you're still here. It's really that serious, huh? I can hardly remember. Aww. I've decided, I want to see a therapist. Harvey got me in touch with a colleague of his. Aww. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for taking care of me, and I want you to know that I'm going to take things a little more seriously from now on. I don't want to be a burden on anyone. Aww. You're not a burden, homie. Just take care of yourself. Oh, what's this? Dear B, everyone around town has been talking about your great generosity lately. Apparently, packages have been appearing in people's houses containing items they posted about years ago on the community center bulletin, and the packages are all addressed from your farm. Thanks for going out of your way to do something like that. All of us in town are delighted. Oh, that's so cute! Oh, I love that. Maybe you can found some good quality stone. Maybe you can build something with it. George. Thanks, Gramps. I appreciate it. I don't know. Here's the thing. I love Leah. She's my girl. But I've been told that Haley has a really cute storyline. And then there's Emily. But then there's Shane with the blue chickens. You know? I don't know. I'm just gonna seduce everyone and then choose later. That's the plan. I don't even know if I'm gonna get married in year 2. It's probably gonna be like year 3 or something. Like right now, I'm just going to focus on me. You don't have to marry Shane for the blue chickens. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. But like I could, you know. I got options. And keep my options open. Yeah, let's see here. I have Leah and Shane up the highest of the bachelors and bachelorettes. And then there's Haley close behind. And Abigail, you know, I've got like pretty solid hearts for everybody except for like Alex, Sam, Elliot, Sebastian. Like, they're just kind of, I don't know. I should give them a chance. I should talk to them. $23,000. I advocate for Haley. I'm marrying Sam. Oh, cute. Okay, but Sam in the new upgrade, or the new update with his winter hat, he's so cute. Okay, let's see. Perfect. Everyone's happy. 5 hours at the salon? Oh my gosh, what'd you end up doing? That must have been one heck of a change. Oh, yeah. No, and they will add it to console, but just in time. We just gotta stay patient. I can't wait for it, though. It's gonna be so nice. I love getting cozied up on the Switch. And I've got a pretty solid playthrough going on the Switch, too. Nice. Do I have space for my eggs? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is so nice having a fully upgraded pack. Oh, my chickens are mad. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I forgot that it was raining and you guys didn't go outside and eat. Please love me. Forgive me. Sorry. Listen, there was plenty of food outside. You just didn't want to go out there. Okay? You're just a little chicken. My bad. Okay, let's get some cheese going. Beautiful. Listen, it was right there. The puns write themselves. Selling all the broccoli. Nice. Apples. I think that might be only my second peach. I don't see that very often. Okay. I posted in Discord for you. Oop, I'm running. I'm looking. Hold up. Looking in the selfies. Is it in selfies? It is in selfies. Ash! Ash, that is so cute. Oh, I'm loving it. That's a lot lighter than you've had before, right? I guess that's a similar lightness. It looks good, though. Oh, and the bangs are too cute. I am here for it. Okay, let's go get some more seeds. Now that it is no longer Wednesday and the shop is actually open. Dang, the community center is finally open now. This is great. Oh, what have I got here? Could someone give me 35 pieces of stone? They need to be fresh. They need to be fresh. What do you mean fresh stone? You crazy? Why? Why harvest it today? Girlfriend? You're silly. Ow. Stop telling me how to live my life. Ooh. Okay, hey, cut it out. We're letting you live here free of charge until you finish school. It doesn't seem like you appreciate that at all. Stop trying to make me feel guilty. I appreciate that you and Dad are helping me out, but expect me to dress the way that you want is ridiculous. Okay, first off, Caroline the other day was just like, Abigail keeps dyeing her hair purple. She has beautiful, natural, chestnut hair color. I'm like, Caroline, you hypocrite. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? You literally have green hair. You literally, that is fresh from the bottle. Are you kidding me? You're right. I'm sorry. Ooh, there we go. Listen to mom. I mean, listen to your daughter. Someone there? Awkward. I swear this house is haunted. Yeah, by your potential girlfriend. Oh, whoa. Erg. Sorry, I was fighting with my mom earlier. No, girl, it's okay. We've all been there. We've all been there. It is growing pains. Yeah, I only accept fresh stone. What does that even mean? Oh, should I make tulips? That could be nice. Oh, kale. I haven't done that yet, actually. Yeah, okay. Let's plant some kale. Done garlic. We have lots of rice. Oh, we should check on the rice. She wants fresh, cracked rock. Yep, that's exactly it. That's the one. Wait, can I grow my own sugar? Is there a way like I can make my own? And wheat flour. Oh, can I grow my own wheat? Wheat, rice, grass, wheat flour? Nope. Well then, fine. I don't want it anyways. Beets in the mill. Oh. Can't beat that. Well then. Gonna have to get some beets. What else did I want to do? Ooh, let's go to the beach. It's been a hot minute since we've done that. What do I need to do? Gather fresh fruits. Okay. Apricots for Emily. Stone. Oh, darn it. Oh, I have 2 days to do that. We're good. We're good. Honestly, I could just like go to the quarry and drop a bomb and it'd be fine. And just make all the stone. Easy peasy. Oh my gosh. Cutscene City. Let's go. Why are you standing out in the rain? Girlfriend, let's get you an umbrella. Oopsie daisy, sorry. Bee, come here quick. I'm on my way. My bracelet is gone. I know I had it on when I got here, but now it's gone and I can't find it anywhere. Uh-oh. I'll never find any. Oh, relax. I'll buy you a new one. I'll just buy you a new one. Oh no, which one does she like? What if it's sentimental? But your girl loves shopping. Maybe she'd be fine with that answer. I'll solve this. I'll get you a new one. No, you won't. This bracelet was passed on to me by my grandma. Ah! I messed up. No! Oh. Sorry, great grandma. I lost your precious bracelet. Please forgive me. Could she have dropped it nearby? Oh, that's right. Can I... How do I pick it up? What? Oh no! Wait, how long was it up? Oh no, that's so awkward. Hi guys, stream is not ending. Did you guys miss the end of the... I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Did we miss the end of what was happening with the rage quit? I didn't mean to. I'm not even sure how that happened, actually. Usually, you know, I like to make jokes about that. You know me. But what? I did not do that. Well, I mean, I must have did that, but I don't know how I did that. How do I get to the back room? Well, anyways, hi guys, I'm here. I did find the bracelet. I found the bracelet and I gave it to Haley and she was very happy about it. I'm so sorry. The end was really cute. I didn't mean to like cut it out so you didn't see it. She's happy. It had a happy ending. It had a very happy ending. Oh my gosh, when you're asking me what happened, I thought you were meaning like what happened with Haley. And I was just like, oh, let me give you the rundown. And I like went off and was saying the whole thing, but I don't think you could hear me because it was on the ending soon screen. I thought I dissociated and didn't hear you say that you were ending. Oh no. Guys, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Whoopsie daisy. I don't even know how I did that. Well, the more you know. Except I wish I knew how I did that so I could like prevent that from happening next time. Because it was not intentional. Well, thanks for sticking around, guys. We're not ending stream yet. Still got some things to do. Okay, it's nobody's birthday today. That's great. Oh, did I talk to all my animals today? Oh, I didn't pet Rosie for whatever reason. And Pippin. It's hard to pet them when they're all like stacked on each other in the same spot. You feel me? There's a raccoon! Hello? This morning I woke up cuddling with my carton of confetti eggs. I was so excuse me? Hungry. Need fish. This is so cute. Okay, oysters and smoked bream? I just sold oysters. Are you kidding me? I don't have enough. Where do I get the bream? Bream, a little bream for me. Bream is a fish that we caught in the river during all seasons. Okay. How do I do smoked bream? Smoked fish. It's an artisan good made from the fish smoker. How do I get the fish smoker? It can be crafted after purchasing the recipe from the fish shop for 10,000? Oh my gosh, this is one heck of a raccoon. Okay, so we gotta spend some time by the ocean then. And I don't have my fishing pole on me, otherwise I would say that we could go do some fishing. Well, while we're back here, let's go to the secret woods then and get some of the hardwood. Because I need to start saving up for it if I'm going to upgrade my home. But look, I created quite the Google search. You really did, though. I was like, okay. Bream, where do I get you? And Fish Smoker, what the heck? That's why you always have the Stardew Valley wiki open. Like, I've got one monitor on for gaming and streaming. I've got one monitor open for the Stardew wiki. Stay strapped. I am prepared. Oh, more mahogany siege. Nice. Love that for me. You know, that's one thing. When I go fishing, I'm like, cool, fast cash. But I really should be saving my fish and putting them away because people ask for the most random fish. And apparently, not just people, but raccoons. So, we gotta do some more fishing. Also, guys, look at I've got Totoro up here in the forest. So cute. Okay, now let's go back down here. I think I can get about 15 pieces of hardwood. I don't know if these come back every day or like every couple days. But, because I never really make it out here every day. I usually just like show up when I remember. Stardew Valley is my main reason why I'm considering getting a second monitor. Oh my gosh, Alp, it's so worth it. It is so convenient. Yeah, I have my second monitor split too. So I was like Discord and Stardew Valley Wikipedia, or like while I'm working, I have my work stuff set up so it's on one monitor, and then I've been listening to like Spirit Lo-Fi or like have other lo-fi channel and like Discord open on my other monitor. It's very, very useful. Alright, well, we did need to get some stone. Alright, 35 pieces. Easy peasy. Let's go ahead and just do that now. Oh, I need to get better about remembering to bring Rasmodius gifts as well. Like, I've got a lot of the Void Essence for him, but I just forget to bring it. I should probably just, like, keep it in my backpack at all times now. Especially when I have the bigger inventory, I should be able to hold it all. Right. Coming along with that fresh stone. That's gonna be the silliest request. Nice-oo. It's all coming together. Okay, I was like thinking for a second, I'm like, there's not really like a lot of rocks around here. There's a fair enough amount of them. Hopefully 35. Cool. Oh, I should also have some on my property too. I could go chop. Okay, let's just go check out the property. That should be the next place. Okay, that raccoon is so cute though. Hello? And all the little flowers and stuff around its little tree. Oh my gosh. Oh, to be a little raccoon living in a tree. That's the dream. I can't wait to upgrade my house for the final time though, because I have this really cute mod that will reskin it to look like a hobbit hole. It's so cute. But you can only do that when it's the final expansion of your house. So I've got a little ways to go. What, another 40,000 more gold to save up? That's gonna take a little bit of time. Alright, just trying to keep my eyes peeled for some more rocks. There's really not a lot out here. I did kind of prune it earlier. Oh, look at the rice coming along. That looks awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that we can do that and just like set it and forget it. It's super nice. Only 3 more pieces. Oh, let's heckin' go. It's already 10 o'clock at night. Might have to finish this in the morning. But it just adds a cellar. Oh, okay. I don't think I need that for the mod since it's probably not changing the outside of the house. I probably just need to get up to the next upgrade. I'm assuming. I don't know this as law, but one could venture a guess. Okay, it's getting dark. It's hard to see, so I'm just going to call it a day. Do I have anything to sell? Not really, actually. It's mostly resources. Okay. Sleep time. Daytime. Nighttime. Cool. Still made some cash. That's pretty great. Gosh, now we need to remember to go to the beach every day and go check for those oysters. The bookseller's in town today. Don't tempt me. Oh, egg festival. Oh gosh. Oh no, Abigail yet again is gonna kick my cheeks. Remember to eat healthy or you won't have enough energy to work hard. I'm including one of my favorite recipes. Homie is giving me a recipe after I threatened him? Ooh, crispy bass? Oh my gosh, so many recipes, hello? I usually don't give up my recipes, but since you've been such a sweetheart to George and I've written this one down for you. Rice pudding. Oh my god, cute. Top secret. Here's the recipe for my famous blueberry tart. Don't tell anyone. I'm giving it to you because we're such good friends. Pierre. Thanks, Pierre. Here's a recipe for my saloon. Only share this with my good friend. Salmon dinner. Oh my goodness. Autumn's bounty from Demetrius. I want to say thanks for taking an interest in my work. Here's a cooking recipe I like. Holy smokes. Dear B, here's an old recipe that my grandma passed down to me. Enjoy. B, how are you doing? I've enclosed some instructions on how to make one of my favorite fish recipes. Fish taco from Linus. Dear neighbor, when I'm not out taking care of animals, I like to experiment in the kitchen. Since we become friends, I want to share some recipes with you. I hope you like it. Marnie. Rhubarb pie. Chowder from Willie. Dear B, I'd like to share an old cooking recipe from my pappy used to make. It's important the fish is fresh. B, I've unlocked the back room of the... excuse me? The back room of the shop, we have to go. Tomorrow we're holding the egg festival in the town square. You should arrive between 9 and 2 if you'd like to attend. You wouldn't miss the annual egg hunt. Holy smokes, that was so much mail? What the? French toast? How many recipes do I have now? Like, that just unlocked a lot. Whoa. Okay, alright, let's do some farming and then let's go check on Willie. Will he show us the back of his house? Sounds like he will. Oh, my farming is growing. Oh, this is great. This is so exciting. Do love me some parsnips. But I'm gonna go buy some more because they grow so fast. Make some quick money. 15 gold stars? Let's go. Pop off. Oh, I already had some. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to just like move that there. Cool. Let me clear my inventory really quick. Strenuous, you sweetheart! Oh my goodness! Thank you so much for giving us into Cass! Oh, Nani the heck! Strenuous, thank you so much, friend. I appreciate you. Cass, I hope you love all your new bee modes. Welcome to the beehive. Oh, how are you doing, Strenuous? It's great to see ya. How's your day going? Aww. Y'all are too good to me. What the French toast? Okay, riddle me this, you guys. Should I upgrade my house next? Or should I upgrade, like, my barns? Or, like, buy other things? Is it important that I upgrade my house? Like, what's the verdict? Like, it'd be nice to have a house upgrade, but that feels kind of like endgame, right? Because I can't really decorate it until I have cash money. this is so cute. Oh, everyone's so happy. I do barns and other stuff. Okay. I should upgrade my barn. I would love to get sheep. So then I can make cloth and I can give that to Emily. She'd be so stoked. Oh, this is so cute. There's a little something for everybody. Hey B, no problem, doing alright. Had a migraine today, so I took the day off of work. Much needed rest day. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Aw, Strenuous, I'm so sorry you got migraines. I also struggle with them, and man, they're... Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I just need to rest and close my eyes and dark room, and I'm glad you're able to take the day off, friend. I'm sorry. I hope you're feeling better now, though. Today's been a good day. I've been feeling great. It's been really nice to be streaming more often. 2 days this week? Like, who is she? Oh, you've done Pelican Town a great service. Everyone in town is pleased. Cute. Cute. As a way of saying thank you, I'd like to present you with this town's greatest honor. The Stardew Hero Award. You've earned it. Oh my god, cute. Cute. You received a Stardew Hero trophy. Aww. Grumble, grumble. Oh. Who's so grumpy? Oh, makes sense. Sales have been plummeting. Where have all my customers gone? Morris. Yeah, that though. What a grump. Why are you out here kind of looking like Count Chocolate? Like, oh look, it's Lawrence. All my customers here. This isn't good. In fact, it's great actually. Oh, Pierre and Morris are about to fight. My money is, let's settle this the old-fashioned way. Oh man, that's what I want to say so bad. I would love for them to just duke it out, but let's be reasonable. Settle things the old-fashioned way. Alright, let's do it. Ha! This means nothing. I'll just run a 75% off sale and all my customers will come crawling back to me, begging for forgiveness. You'll see. No, not this time, Morris. Oh, yeah. I think it's time we settle this once and for all. Oh my god. Oh, and how do you propose we do that? Let's go, Pierre. Let's go. Oh my god, Pierre, no! Ha! Primitive. Come on, put up your dukes. If you're too scared to fight me, then bring one of your coworkers. Or are all the JoJo employees such cowards? Oh boy. Oh my god, George over here just ready to square up. Insult me all you like, but don't you dare slander the good name of Joja. My little brother said Oompa Loompa. No, your brother's not wrong. Oh my god. Ha! Good stuff. Let's go, George. This is so good. What? You're even weaker than your fresh produce selection. No. No, hitting him where it hurts. And the way you throw punches is just like Joja. Quantity over quality. Oh my god. Pop off, Pierre. Pop off, Pierre. Let's go. Caroline over here being like, wow, my husband is so hot right now. Excuse me? I'm sorry? Hello? How did... Did you just have sunglasses on at the end of that? Morris and his JoJo Mart cronies were never heard from again. I'm sorry? What just happened? Was that real? You know what? Pierre was kind of mid in my book before, but I'm about to go find my his favorite item, and I'm gonna give that to him. Twice a week. Like, good job, Pierre. Defending the town. Fighting against capitalism. Wow. Okay, but their, like, produce comments to each other was so good. Thank you, guys. I love... Not that I condone violence, but pop off Pierre. That was so good. Okay, but now I want to see what happens the other route. I bet it's kind of boring. Pierre said he could be the only capitalist. Damn right. Damn right he did. Oh my goodness. I'm a simple man. When my pipe is full, I'm happy. My pipe is empty. Well, then I just fill her up again. Okay, but we can go into the back room. Hello? A sheep? Wait, is this why I need hardwood? Oh no. And I just gave it to the raccoons who just want expensive fish? Are you kidding me? A sad sight. Oh my gosh, Strenuous, do it! Join the crew! I know there's a big handful of us who are also playing. I know Alpa's playing, Mel's been playing. Uh-oh, I just dropped my headphones. Whoopsie daisy. She was me father's boat. Served him well for over 50 years. But now she can barely stay afloat. Wait, is this how I get to Ginger Island? Hello? I've been playing every day. I'm so obsessed. Same. I hope it wants... It's making me get up early in the morning. Like, not that early, but, like, early enough so I can play a little bit. And then, like, on my lunch break. And I have a problem. 200 pieces of hardwood to patch the hole would be a good start. But we'll also need to get the trinket machine back up and the iridium anchor repair. Oh, my God. If I could get me hands on the right materials and repair old girl, well, then I could take you to the Fern Islands. Fern Reel? Volcanic islands full of strange parrots, they say. I'd like to help. Yeah, let's be a pirate together. Yar. Are you serious? I've been playing before work, then sleeping right after work so I can wake up early to play again. Let's go, Alp. I love that for us. What year is this? This is so good. It's honestly just like so nice to be so excited about a game again. This machine can be repaired with 5 battery packs. Ugh, I need another storm. I only have 1 battery pack right now. 200 pieces of hardwood. 5 iridium bars. Holy sh... Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. I keep telling myself I have to wait until after finals break to start a new farm so I can fully allow myself to get lost in the void. Yes. When is finals week? Are you almost there? I'll have to pull it up on my Steam Deck. I go through phases with Stardew, but it has been a hot minute. I'm the same way, Strenuous. Like, so I haven't gotten super far into this game before because I play a game and I get really excited about it, and that excitement lasts for like a week or so. And then I get distracted and find another game that I want to play. And then I come back to Stardew and I'm like, oh no, what was I doing? And then I have to start a new playthrough. So this time I'm so excited. Like, I've seen like some things that happen later game and I really want to get to that point. So I'm so committed. I'm going to get a perfect playthrough on this file. This is going to be the file. You guys can hold me to it. If I start streaming something else, you got to be like, Nicole, ma'am, we talked about this. We talked about this. But I'm so determined. It's like, this game is so good. Oh my gosh, I've had so many cutscenes. This is great. Wait, is he filming? Oh no. Clint and Emily, what are you doing? Ew, run away. Oh no. Ready? Action. No action. I thought we had something special. I guess I was wrong. Yeah, you are wrong. It's me. It's me all along. Cut. I'm sorry. You should be. It's hard to remember my lines when her face is right in front of me like that. Oh, whoa. Oh, hey. Check out my new camera. Jojico's having a video advertisement competition. The prize is 10,000. What? That's some good money. Hey, I want you to be in the shot, okay? Just walk by Clint and Emily in the background while they're talking. It'll give the scene a little more authenticity. Yeah, just having a little fairy princess meander while they're having a lover's quarrel. That's right. That'll add to authenticity. Ready? Action! I thought we had something special. You said you wouldn't leave me for anything. I guess that was a lie. No, it's not like that. This is just something I have to do. It's very important to me. Personally, I think I nailed it. Me walking in the background. Oh, awkward. I've just gotta try the new Joja Blue Cola. It's got 3 times the sorbitol for a thick, sweet blast. And it's cheaper than water. But isn't soda unhealthy? You promised me. Have no fear, my dear. The world-class science team at Joja headquarters have determined that Joja Blue does not cause a significant erosion of the stomach lining. So you can drink it whenever you like, as much as you like. The real question is, when will you turn blue? Glug, glug, glug. Cut! That was awful. That was perfect. No, on the contrary. Who wrote that script? We need to workshop it. Thanks for the help. No problem. You guys could need more of it, but I can't offer that assistance. Oh. Looks like Clint really blew it. Okay. Holy smokes. Guys, I need to get iridium. How do I do that? I had to go to the skull cavern, right? Oh boy. And I need more battery packs. Oh gosh. Okay, I need to be prepared for that. So I only currently have 2 lightning rods, iron bar, refined quartz, and bat wings. I need to put some more out so I can go get myself all of the lightning. Thunder, thunder, lightning in the thunder. Okay, quartz, iridium. Wait, no, quartz, iron, and bat wings. Of course. Why am I questioning that? It makes so much sense. Of course you'd use bat wings when you're making... Hello? Oh my gosh, I am running low on iron though. Oh, the irony. Okay, your girl needs to hit the mines. Yeah, I don't even have to make a 3rd. Embarrassing. Okay, all right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go check out the quarry before we get quarried away. We need to go see Skull Cavern, small chance from Omni Geode, special rock spawns in the quarry, traveling cart. Those are ways I know how to get iridium. Ooh, okay. Well, hopefully we can find some Omni Geodes, and that would be nice. Oh, it's Friday! Oh, I could go check out the Traveler. Traveling cards. Alright, well, let's get all of the iron for now, because I need that stat. And then we'll go check out the traveling cart. Because I have the crystallarium. Like, once I get some iridium, I can put that in there, right? So that should give me some. It's a sweet bee. Oh, Warlock! In this economy? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. Strenuous. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. No, it's only gems. No. Dang. That's a bummer. Excuse me, Strenuous, thank you so much for gifting that sub over to Spectre. Spectre, I hope you love all of your new bee motes. Welcome on into the beehive, my friend. Thanks, Strenuous. Goodness. I missed you too, Warlock. How have you been? What's new in the life of Warlock Foxfire? It's great to see it. This is so nice being back to stream, guys. I cannot say that enough. I'm having so much fun. This is just like... It's so cozy, just like coming out and hanging out with you guys after I get off work. I just playing some Stardew. This is great. Okay, I need to go. We'll go back to the bus stop. Because then we can go through my area and go to the forest. Okay, perfect. I do need to put some quartz in there. I wish I could access the quartz from there. Goodness. Wait, have you gone on the quarry mine? There's a mine there? No? Excuse me? How did I miss that? Oh my gosh, Strenuous, you're so stinking sweet. What the hecky? Thank you so much for gifting. Hello? Excuse me. Thank you so much for gifting that sub over to Warlock. Warlock, I hope you level your bee mounts. Welcome back to the beehive. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Thank you so much, Strenuous. Yeah, thank you, Lol. Thank you for all the hype in chat. Oh, you guys are the best. What the hecky? If you get to the end, there's a prize? Is it iridium? Please spoil it for me. Is it iridium? Do I need to do it? Do I need to go do the thing? Is it super challenging to get through? Okay, bread. Fairy seeds! Oh, I already have them growing though, I think. Goat cheese. House plant, rare seed, pine cone, blackberry. Pine cone, blackberry, Peter Pan, and goat cheese, Sephiroth. Did you get the red cabbage? Oh, I got that red cabbage for sure. Oh, bees! It's so good to see you. No, you need to do it, but it's not iridium. It's only one level, so not hard. Oh, I'll go do it right now. That sounds like fun. Okay, so Leah, let me tell you, I got to the very last day of the year, and it was a Sunday, so I went and talked to the traveler, to the traveling cart, and she had cabbage seeds available, not a red cabbage. So we just unlocked the community center. We just finished it. It took forever, but it was worth it. It was worth it. But I didn't complete it in year one. I did have the seeds by the end of year one. I had the apples. I had everything else done except for the cabbage. But hi, Leah. It's good to see you, friend. Bees, how the heck are you today? It's great to see you too. Like, thanks for popping in. Okay, it's only one level. How hard could it be? Doing all right? Yeah, what are you up to? Are you still playing the game that you were telling me about the other day? Oh, nifty. Yeah. Yeah. Like, not the ideal situation, but it was close. Oh, also remember how I was just like, I'm gonna go do that right now. No, I'm gonna do that tomorrow in game because it's 5:40 and my energy is low. I need to start that like at the beginning of the day. Like, it's one level, but like how long is that level though? You know what I mean? Okay, I feel like the hard one is probably gonna be the easiest thing to do. Oh. Okay, I do like this though, that there's like a new quest for me to like work towards, because I really liked that like collecting aspect for the community center. So I'm glad that we have something like that again to do. That said, this is like a tall order though. This is a lot. Also, does this request change, or is like hungry need fish? Okay, same thing. 5 oysters, smoke bream. Well, I think I'm mostly done with Rise of the Ronin. Great game. Oh, nice. Was it your first time playing it? Stoked for you. Oh, got some maple syrup. Gotta go say hi to the cows. My little bovine babies. Hello there, Eowyn. Yeah, it's a game that came out 3 weeks ago. Oh, sweet. Heck, how have I not heard of this yet? I mean, outside of you telling me about it. Okay, do I have anything in here that I need to take care of? Oh, strawberries! Oh, beautiful. Okay, oh, full inventory. Okay, we'll come back. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have some cash money tomorrow. This is great. Move that there. No. Perfect. I'll grab those in a second. Strawberry. More strawberry. I need to hang on to the daffodil. Oh gosh, most of these things I could just like put away. Most of these things I should just put away. Cool. Sort that a little bit better. This is like the year of Final Fantasy. You know, if you press tab, it changes the row of your bag. About that. No, I simply did not know that until this moment. Again, change in my world over here, girl. Oh wait, what did it cost? Oh, it's bat wings? Bat wings and iron. Okay, I need one more. Oh, I should have done iron. Oh, that's fine, that's fine. Because I don't know the next time we're going to have a storm, but I want to be ready with the lightning rods. Okay, bees. If you like Final Fantasy, have you ever played Final Fantasy X? I just gotta know. Because that is my favorite Final Fantasy game. That game makes me so happy. It's such a good story. Storms mostly happen in summer. Okay, fair enough. It did say they can happen in fall though, right? Like it could happen? I have played and completed all of the Final Fantasy games, and yes, Final Fantasy is my favorite. Oh, good. Yuna is my favorite character too. Oh my gosh, my friend who also like really loves Final Fantasy, she did this like, you know, like those ranking posts that people do on Twitter. She did one of those, but like I didn't even like look at all of the options. I just like tried to find where she put Yuna, and I saw that Yuna was at the very top, and I was like, beautiful. The rest of the ranking, I don't even care because you understand that. Rocks, Fox, Socks. My goodness, thank you so much for the raid. It's so good to see you. Hi, everybody coming in from Rox's stream. Hello, this is a sock theft raid. What? You're not here to steal my socks? Excuse me? Well, I'll have you know, I got a really cute pair of socks, and they have little hedgehogs on them. And I love them, but I'll share. I'll share. You can have them. You can simply acquire those socks. Because you raided and you brought your community over, and I appreciate that. How was your stream, by the way? Nithikal? Oh my goodness, hello, double raid. Oh, you guys are so stinking sweet to me. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody coming in from Nithikal. It's so good to see you, and everybody coming in from Rox's stream. Hi, guys. Oh, and Mel, thank you for giving this up over to Rox. Let that clear, and then I'll let everyone know what's happening. Oh my goodness. Hi guys. Thank you so much for that double raid. Can I get a big old shout out for Nithikal and for Rox Fox Socks? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for gifting that sub to Nithikal. Oh, Stardew, you're so sweet. The Nithikal adventure brought us here. Oh my goodness. Hi Shvenny. Thank you for the follow. Hi everybody coming in from both of the raids. My name is Nicole B. I'm a variety streamer. We're playing Stardew Valley. This is our second year in the game. It's so nice to meet you. If you like puns and positivity, you're in the right place. Hi everybody. Oh my gosh, Nithikal, it's been forever. How are you doing? Guys, please go follow my friend Nithikal. She is a delight. I love hanging out in her streams. She's so much fun to hang out with. Rox, thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for bringing your community over as well. What were you both up to? Thank you for this lovely raid. I was doing good. I too was playing Stardew Valley. Oh, nice. Rox, what were you working on? I'm good. How are you? I was playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Oh my god, all the cozy games. I need to get caught up on Disney Stardew Valley, or Disney Stardew Valley, Disney Dreamlight Valley, different valley. That game is so stinking cute. I love Rapunzel so much. She is my favorite Disney princess. I know. I've got one valley on the mind here. But oh god, I love Rapunzel so much. And now that they finally added her in the game, I bought the expansion. I just haven't played it yet. I'm slacking. But I need to play it. How are you enjoying it? What have you been working on in the game? Oh my gosh, I unlocked Mike and Sully tonight. Mike and Sully are in it? Are you kidding me? That's so cute. Oh, I love that. God, I love Monsters, Inc. Have you seen Monsters University? That movie is it's one of my favorites. It's so funny. Yes, it's so good. Baby Mike is just like the cutest thing. I would die for him, not to be dramatic, but so cute. Oh man, I need to play this again. It's been so long. Ooh, artisan or agriculturalist? I think I'm gonna go artisan because I ideally would like to make a bunch of wine. I'd already make cheese, so yeah, I'm doing that. Ooh, and my mining went up too. Let's go. Monsters U is peak Disney movie. No, for real. Have you watched Monsters at Work? It's a show, but it's cute and fun. No, I haven't. Is it on Disney Plus? Shoot, I didn't know that they made a TV series. Excuse me? I'm slacking. I'm missing out. Well, at least, I mean, that's something I can look forward to, though. That's what it is. Cute. Okay, have you seen the Tangled animated series? Because if you like Tangled, I ate this series up. It was genuinely one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like, one of the best animated shows. It's so stinking cute. Oh, no, absolutely. Like, I would recommend it to anybody. It is so good. What? Pierre's Journal Store is now open 7 days. Bless. About time. Escargot recipe from Willie. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so much mail. Maybe I'll start it tonight. It is genuinely so cute. They call it, like, the fans call it Between the Kisses. It takes place right after the movie, but before Rapunzel and Eugene get married. And it's just like the coolest plot twist. It has awesome songs. I think it's a couple seasons, and I just wish that it was so much more. It's so cute. It's like the story of, like, her adjusting back to being with her family, but not really sure what to do. And her best friend is her lady in waiting. Her name is Cass. And there's magic, and there's intrigue, and there's romance, and it's just so good. I just love it, and I need to geek out with more people. Need to know about it because I need to talk to people about it. I'll send you all the cute fan art if you're into it. It's so cute. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm inspired. I need to play Disney Dreamlight Valley again. It's been so long since I picked it up. Yes, I'm so into. Okay, girl, I got you. I got you. Oh, that's awesome. Cute. So are you decorating for Mike and Sully then? That's so fun. My gosh. Do you have all of the available, I guess, villagers essentially for the game right now? Or were they the last people you needed to get? Yeah, their house is huge. What? Oh my goodness. Do they have, like, the scare doors in there? Like, can you get Boo? Does she show up at all in the game? Oh, I hope she does. She's so cute. I have all the villagers now, but there's a new update coming soon. Oh, shoot. I haven't heard about this yet. Oh, that's exciting. Oh my gosh, it's Saturday. Okay, what are we doing today, guys? We are just doing, like, our regular chores, and then we're gonna go check out the cavern by the quarry. Oh, of course, there's the apple. Man, we were struggling yesterday. We just needed one more apple and the red cabbage, and then we would have been finished with our community center. Finally did that today. We were trying to do it all in 1 year, but the last day I went to go check on the traveler's cart. She gave me red cabbage seeds, not the actual red cabbage, so it took me a little bit into the second year before I could actually finish it, but it happened. Aww. Strenuous, you're so good. You're taking care of everybody. I appreciate you so much. Aw, Nicole, I hope you love all of your bee motes. Wait, is my rice done? No, not yet. Hi, Shaded. Wow. Hi, friend. Wow. There it is. Oh, shoot, I forgot to say Egg Festival. Okay, so we won't be able to do that today. Ooh, how unexpected. Let me see. Oh, you got the Kirby with the gun. You're locked and loaded. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Oh, gosh. So many things. I need to turn my milk into cheese. Perfect. Lovely. And what else do I have here? Bunch of seeds, bunch of wood. Okay, let's just start putting things away really quick. I'm, like, overwhelmed. I have too much stuff in my inventory, and it's too much. Okay, let's see. I told my stepdad how much my hair was, and he said for that, yes, they had to take out the box tag. Oh my gosh, color correction is so expensive. It's definitely worth it to have a professional do it. I just went through that. Like, I went from, like, bright red copper color to, like, more of, like, a natural, like, brunette blonde balayage, and that just took forever, and it was very expensive. You don't want to mess with it because, like, in color correction they have to use bleach, and if you don't have a professional who knows what they're doing, you're gonna lose your hair. So your step pops does not know. Trust me, I'm sure it was worth it. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for bringing your community over. I'll take great care of them. Have a beautiful night, my friend. It was really good seeing you. Oh, hi, Marshmallow. It's good to see you. Yeah, no, it totally is worth it. Yeah, don't let him like make you feel bad about your choice to do that. Like you're taking care of your hair, and your hair is like important, and you know it's part of our identity. Your farm is so pretty. Oh, thanks, Warlock. It's coming along. I have so much like I'm so excited about and like I want to do. You know, I don't need to buy anything actually. Maybe the plush bunny because it's cute, but I don't really need to spend my money on it. Oh wait, isn't there usually a star drop available during this festival, or am I thinking of a different festival? Or can you only get that year one? Because I did not get the star drop at the first festival because like I was broke. And yeah, girls trying to save their money. Stardew Valley Fair. Okay, cool. Whew. Still stands. Your girl was broke. Oh boy. Do you think everyone's ready? Startup is from the fair. Okay, good. I didn't miss it. Only first year. Soft lock now. Dang it. I missed my opportunity. Wait, does that mean like every year you can get one? Or is it like you just get it the one time? The one time that you choose whatever year it is. Zebra, how's your day going though? It's great to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Oh boy, let's start. Okay. Last year, one time something else placed us then. Nice. Okay, cool. Anime love. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging out, my friend. I'll post in Discord when I stream next. I might. This weekend's gonna be pretty busy. I'm guessing I'll probably end up streaming next week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday-ish. I think I'm gonna aim for like 2 days a week, and plus like our Discord movie night every other Monday. But I'll post in Discord for sure. So just make sure you're there and keep an eye on details. I know you are. You're awesome. I appreciate you so much. If anybody isn't in the Discord and they want to join our shenanigans, there's the link. I'd love for you to be there. The place I go to is expensive anyways. A haircut is like $70. Yeah, I do the same thing. Hair is an investment for sure. Oh boy. Okay, I've won this before. But last time I got my butt kicked by Abigail, so. Oh boy. Okay, there's 3. Wait, is that one there? Okay, there's 4. 5. 6. Oh my god, am I gonna do it? 7. 8. 9? Did I just kick Abigail's butt? Come on, baby! Come on! Ah! I hope I did okay this year. I did better than I did last year, that's for sure. CMB! Hello, fellow bee. It's good to see you, friend. Hello. It's just nice to see you. Aw, we're like, it's so good to see you too. It feels so nice to be back. Whew. Well, that was unexpected, but I hope I did excellent enough to get the prize. Sorry, enough of those bad jokes. Now, if only I could get you kids to pick up litter this efficiently, we'd have the cleanest town this side of the gem sea. Hee. Need to show that little girl who runs this town. Damn right, Jess. And the winner of this year's egg hunt. Come on, baby. Mama needs a new pair of shoes. I won! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here's your prize. What did I win? I got a hat. Oh my goodness. Well, that's it for this year's egg festival. Thanks for coming, everyone. Nice. I did it, you guys. Are you proud? Are you proud of me? Aw, thanks, Zebra. Thanks, friend. You know, I'm gonna get a fancier model for the fairy. It's gonna be like more reactive and everything too. I just waiting for my artist to finish it up. She is making some amazing graphics for stream. It's gonna be really cute. But you know, I'll pop on video cam sometimes too and stream. It just been kind of feeling, I don't know, out of it, not into it lately to do it. Just, you know, low energy. So this is nice, having a good little compromise. But don't worry, you haven't seen the last of me yet. I get it though. I just streamed from the PS4 tonight. No camera. Oh, what'd you end up playing tonight? There's something real cozy about not having a camera, right? Like it's, I don't know. It's nice. I like it too. Wait, did I already milk the cows? I did, and I couldn't pet everybody. Yeah. Any bee is good, bee. We are indeed the bee's knees. Be beautiful. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at how much cash money we've made though. Like 3,000-ish a day, roughly. I think we're doing pretty good. Oh, nice. How did it go, Marshmallow? Was it magical? Oh, whose birthday is it? It's Haley! It's my wife! Well, not yet, but she will be. She will be mine. Oh, yes. She will be mine. Do you know if streaming without facecam uses less internet bandwidth? I want to stream, but my Wi-Fi is so mid. Ooh. You know what? That's a really good question. I'm not positive, actually. You know, I think there's a way that you can go live, like, without going live. Like, a way that you can test OBS. I can't remember what it's called. Here, let me look it up really quick. Test bandwidth streaming OBS. Twitch test stream with OBS. Yeah, if you search for Twitch test stream with OBS or whatever program you use to stream, there's a way to test it and it'll give you like stats on how it went. So you could try that once with like, oh, you know, I don't know if it would actually like take into account your camera though. I think it just like goes like overall stats. I think it just like your connection. Might be just a trial and error kind of situation. I don't know. That's a good question. You know, I'll look at my stats, compare it to now, and then the next time that I go live with my camera, and I'll let you know. Yeah, no problem, Nat. I've got a new item in stock. It's called the Auto Grabber. This thing can milk your cows and goats, shear your sheep, gather eggs, and pluck your woolly rabbits all on its own. It's considered a luxury item, so I'm charging $25,000. Whoa. That's awesome though. Tomorrow begins a 3-day festival in Calico Desert with a bus backing order. We're all delighted to be able to bring back the time-honored beloved tradition. There'll be games, free food, prizes, and much more. Also, 2 townspeople are selected each day to run a little shop. So make sure you swing by and check out what they have to offer. See you there. Wait, that's so cute. There's so many things I haven't seen. I love this. Yeah, I love this. This is great. Oh, one second. Sorry, my mom sent me a text message. I had to reply. Okay, Haley. Okay, I don't have pink cake. I should have a sunflower though. Yes! Perfect. For my wife. Haley likes coconuts. Oh. But are they like her favorite? She likes coconuts? Well, that's exciting. No, I don't want to eat the sunflower. I'm trying to get some cauliflower. Cauliflower, sweet and sour, half an hour, vegetables. The Grand Bon's ready. I love coconuts. Oh, same. Big same. Coconuts and sunflowers are the best gifts. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I don't have any coconuts currently, but I could go acquire some. Oh, that sounds lovely. Oh my gosh, enjoy your dessert, my friend. Wait, I want this auto grabber. That sounds so convenient. But like, Okay, does the auto grabber come with the coop in the barn upgrades? Like, can I save my money on that if I'm just like planning on upgrading anyways? Is that a perk? Because that'd be nice. I love sunflowers too. Am I Haley? Oh my god, are you my wife? Hello? Wow, it's wild we should meet like this. Okay, I got some apples. Enjoy your lurk, my friend. Enjoy your desserts in the lurk. Got some milk. No, it's separate. Ah, barnacles. Okay, I will acquire it in some point. Do I have to have one for each of their houses? Is that a thing? Like I have to have one in a barn and then one in the chicken coop as well? Has it spent like 50,000? We will have the most awkward meet and cute. I think we just did. I think we just did. Ooh. Leah. No, I need to go. Yeah, one for each building since it doesn't work outside. Oh! What a pain. I just need to be rolling in the cash money. I need to make that dough. Haley, birthday girl. I'm thinking about donating a bunch of clothes. I must have 100 pairs of shoes. Dang, girl. Okay. You got this for me? Wow, B, this is the best birthday gift ever. Ooh, how many hearts are we at? Oh, whoa. Things are getting serious. Things are getting very serious. How did things get so serious with me and Lewis? Awkward. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I think they did a great job. You look beautiful, Ash. Ace house was left in the care by my parents. They've been traveling the world for the last 2 years. We have no idea when they'll be back. Dang. That's wild. Okay, but the auto grabber would be really nice, but I also just want to upgrade my barn. That would also be quite nice. Okay, maybe I'll do that today. We can just go sell some stuff. Oh, you're so welcome, Ash. It's the truth. Okay, I will go sell some goodies, grab the wood, and then go talk to Robin about upgrading the barn. Because it would be nice to have sheep. You know? Oh my goodness, a raid from Lunatastic, a toaster raid. Hello. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Is that my girl coming in with a hot raid? I did it again. I had a moment of like, I know that name is familiar, but do I know them? Yes, I know you. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody coming in from Lunatastic Stream. It's so good to see you guys. My name is Nicole B. I'm a variety streamer. I play a variety of fun and cozy games like Stardew Valley. Yeah, I feel like puns and positivity are in the right place. It's so good to see you guys. Nico B. Hi! Oh, how are you doing, my friend? Hello, hello. Guys, if you're not following my friend Lunatastic, please go give them all the love in the world. This is a friend. I know them IRL, and I know them in their VTubing space. They are a delight. We love and stand Lunatastic. Please go give them lots of love. How'd your stream go? How is Persona? Is it everything you've ever dreamed of? Are you pollinating Stardew Valley as a bee tuber? Soul? You know it. Oh, you know it. Look at my tiny little bee houses. Isn't that lovely? This is me. I'm trying to get in them. But alas, I must settle for this human house. Crazy. Crazy. But isn't it beautiful? Wait, I was gonna do something. What was I doing? I need to grab wood because I'm gonna talk to Robin about upgrading my barn so I can get sheep. It's gonna be so cute. I'm so excited for this. I don't know if I also need to have rocks. I don't think, maybe I'll just bring it just in case. Oh, all my chickens and ducks. Oh, but tell me about your stream. How did it go? How was it? Soul, how are you doing, by the way? Did you have just the best time in Luna's stream? You don't even need to answer that because I know you did. What are you? A book? Dang. Just a whole lot of coal. Honestly, I've been making a lot of, wait. I'm debating what to play while I discover the world of bee-tubing. A fellow bee-tuber? Excuse me, soul? Another bee? I love that. That's beautiful. Uh-oh. Demetrius, I didn't tell you to get tomatoes. I said to get fruit. No, I'm talking about your bee-tubing. Oh, my bee-tubing. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Oh, shucks. Have you played Stardew? You wanna hang out and play the same? Uh-oh. Well, I mean, technically a tomato is a fruit, so I understand Demetrius. Yeah, I don't understand. Tomatoes are fruits. Okay, but they're also a vegetable. Because... oh, boy. I played Harvest Moon. I love Harvest Moon! Which one? Which one? When a normal person says they want fruit, they never mean tomatoes. It doesn't matter what the scientific classification is. I mean, Robin's right. B, I'm glad you're here. You'll be able to put this argument to rest. Listen, if your girl's gonna make a pie, she's not gonna make a tomato pie. I mean, technically it's a fruit, but it's also a vegetable. Oh my god. I love A Wonderful Life. Celia is my girl. I love her. It's a vegetable. Really? I figured a farmer would know the correct answer. Okay, listen, Demetrius. I understood your wife. Okay, I'm on Robin's side here. But I'll try to get better. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Look at them go. I'm amazed my GameCube still works. Thanks for your help. I'm sorry. Well, listen, Demetrius. I was on your wifey side. My bad. Oh, what's happening? Hi, B. I was just cleaning some dust off my saw. Did I just get double cutscened? Have you ever made anything out of wood? Yes. Great. Then this blueprint should be a piece of cake for you. I love that game so much, though, Soul. It's so good. Did you see they made a remake of it, though, for the Switch recently? Oh my gosh. Carpentry Secrets? Blueprints? Robin? My what's gonna make you go? My nibbling is gonna make me go broke. I had all nephews, but the youngest is identifying as female, so I'm buying her so many dresses. I'm looking at more now. Oh my goodness, cute. A nibbling? That's adorable. You can make these. Oh, you can use these to get creative on your farm. It feels so good to be able to decorate your house with things you've made yourself. Cute. I've been looking at, let me Google the name. No, because I'm just now a PC enjoyer. Oh, fair. You know, they do have it on Steam. The remaster of A Wonderful Life is on Steam. Okay, construct farm buildings. Okay. Not the shed. Not the cabin. Not the Ooh, I could get a stable though. It's a non-binary term for niece or nephew, and I love that. So I've never heard that. That's really cute. I love that. Hi, Tackle. It's so good to see you. How are you doing, friend? Oh, okay, I'm not crazy. It's called Palia. Oh, Palia's great. We were just talking about that. That game is so cute. Have you started it already, or is this your first time playing it? Ooh, Deluxe Coop. Comes with an auto feed system. Unlocks rabbits. Big barn. 12,000. Do I have enough for this? Can I make this one now? I do. Boom, build. Got it. Oh, I have 34,000. Your girl has money. I'm debating on whether I should get it or not. It is free to play, so you don't have to buy anything for the initial game, actually. So you could just try it out and see what you think about it. You're incredible at multitasking with playing and replying to people. Oh, thanks. I'm trying. If I ever miss somebody's message, I promise you, it is not intentional. It is not intentional. Unless somebody says something real sus, then yeah, it might be intentional. But if it's normal and I just want to talk, then yeah, it's not intentional. I'm not trying to. So how about Helldivers 2? And I'm playing that alongside Content Warning. Oh, I haven't tried Content Warning yet, but I've been seeing a lot of people play it. You know, in Monster Hunter, I just could never, I love the concept of it, but it was never something that I could like really get into. Oh, I need this. I need the basic window. Okay. I will show you why, actually. It's very cute. Basic window. Wait, can I buy two? Oh yeah, I can buy two. Nice. Okay. Okay, hear me out. Okay, okay, we're gonna go do a thing. It's hit or miss with randoms. Oh my gosh, 3 cutscenes? What the French toast is happening here? This is the best. This is why it's important to give people gifts on their birthday, you guys. Oh, this music is pretty. Eep! Oh, it's Linus, right? Oh my god, be besties. Are you hungry? I can make you some lunch. How about some leftover cave carrot stew? Oh, cute! That's very nice of you, but no thanks. I've had great luck foraging today. Oh, okay. B, you look like you have something to say. Whoa. What? What? Hello? What do I answer? What do I say? Does he really live with you? Oh my gosh, Soul the Moon? Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate that. Thanks for the follow. Now I wonder what it would look like if you and Luna play content warning together. Okay. Luna, hey girl. You wanna play a game together? Like do a little stream together sometime? It'd be pretty fun. If she misses your message, just yell dinosaur at her. I realize how vulgar it is, that not everyone is comfortable with that though. It's so true. Saying dinosaur in chat, oh my gosh, the audacity. Oh boy. Okay. I'm just gonna say that I'm pleased that Linus is doing well. He's doing his thing, right? And he's happy doing the thing. But like, I'd love for him to live with me, but like, he likes the way that he lives, so yeah. Yeah. Feel like that's right. Thanks, B. You had me worried there. I thought you were gonna ask me to move on the farm with you. You know, I consider you my closest friend in the valley. You've never tried to fix me. You respect my way of life, even if you don't understand. Oh, cute. I really appreciate that. Oh, that's my buddy. Oh, can you smell that? It's the sweet aroma of ripe berries. Oh, what is sweet? That's what I'm saying. Linus is so good. We love Linus. Linus seems like a jolly old man. He's so good. He is just, when you first meet him, he's very, like, initially distrusting of you. You know, because, like, most people don't approve of his way of life. But you just get to know him, and you guys open up, and he's just very sweet. Oh, I think I have, like, yeah, I have the highest hearts with Linus. He's great. Is that a strawberry I see? Oh my goodness. Strawberry, it's good to see you. How you doing? Well, hello. Oh my gosh, stop. Your emotes are so cute. Is that legal? Excuse me? Is it allowed to have emotes that cute? Excuse me? Oh, you know what we need to do, you guys? We need to go to the quarry. My little boyfriend, my dad's, just texted me confetti eggs. Who told him? Oh no. Wait, what is a confetti egg? I don't know if I know that. Oh, gotta get a daffodil. Do I have... Okay, no, I have plenty of space in my inventory. I want to do the thing that Mel was telling us about, like going to the quarry and doing the... There's like a level that you have to go beat in a cave. I want to go fight in a cave. That sounds sick. Let's go. I can't believe we just got 3 cutscenes in a row. Like, I kind of feel bad because I chose the wrong answer for Demetrius. Like, I should have known that he was going to go for, like... I mean, I should have agreed with him, right? Like, if I wanted the points. But, like, come on. Your wifey is asking for a fruit. Like, any fruit. She's probably asking specifically for, like... You know, like maybe a fruit salad or a pie. You're not gonna put tomatoes in that. Why don't you use the minecarts? Because I'm trying to get my cardio in. Duh. And because I forgot that that's a thing that I have that I could use. Because I am a fool. This is fine. Oh. Alright. Drink the coffee. I'm just gonna move the things that I don't need right away. Don't need to be milking in the mines. Yeah, we'll just keep that. Oh my gosh, it's a little slime? I almost didn't see it there because it kind of looked like The Rock. Not Dwayne The Rock Johnson, just like the rocks in the dungeon. And, oh no, I'm so, hello? Excuse me? Who do you think you are, Mr. Skullhead? Mr. Angry Skull? What the? Oh boy. I don't know what to expect from doing this, so I'm just gonna try to get through it. And then, like, come back and get things. Oh my gosh! Oh, you are a villain, and you keep smacking me, and I'll smack you back. What are you doing? They kind of remind me of those, like, skull heads in Ocarina of Time. You know what I mean? Okay, do I need to kill every monster in here to beat the level? Or do I just need to, like, make it to an endpoint? Yeah, I've never done the Skull Cavern. I don't think this is technically Skull Cavern, is it? Or maybe it is, because it did have a skull at the entrance. I don't know. I'm new. Ads off. Okay, good. Just get to the end. Okay, then I'm gonna conserve my energy. Can you not? Do I have anything to eat? Oh, I have apples. You know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yay, welcome back, Strawberry! Okay, you didn't miss much. I'm just me battling through the mine. I need to make it to the end point. It's like a level. Once I make it through, I don't need to battle everything. I just need to get through it, apparently. And if I do that, then there is a prize awaiting me. So that's what I'm trying to do. What animes have you been watching lately? Nicole Weeb! Me? What are you talking about? Yeah, you right. You right. Oh my gosh. I'm actually so far behind. I've been watching old stuff. I haven't watched, like, anything new for this season, which is crazy. Because, like, Free Ren and Apothecary Diaries have been on my watch list, and I just haven't started it yet. Like, excuse me? I'm slacking because I think those two animes are going to be, like, known as, like, some of the greatest anime of our time. And I'm slacking. Oh my gosh. Those skull things might actually murder me. Oh, Tyler, it's good to see you. I need to watch them so bad. They are on my radar. I've been so slacking. Oh my gosh. What if I just take a leak, you know? I'm also slacking too. Okay, good. I feel less bad. But also, we should get on that. Oh boy. Do you think I'm gonna die, Mel? Am I doing okay? I should have brought more food. Oh my, okay, yeah, you know what? I think I gotta come back another day. Cause those big skull dudes, they're mean. Oh my god! Go away. You little brat. You don't even have a body. You don't, not to shame. Okay, well, maybe actually I was doing okay. No, my health is so low. Oh god. Oh lord. I gotta run by the slimes. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't even perceive me. Don't do it. Running. This is fine. Everything's fine. More food is a good idea. Now, next time, I'm bringing a full picnic. Okay, but I'm gonna take the iron on the way out. Nice. Look at that. I came. I saw. I was conquered. This is fine. Everything's fine. Nah, I'm so scared for myself. Okay, we're gonna do that again. Wait, why did I go to the mines? That's not where I want to go. I want to go to the bus stop. Nice. Oh, look at that. We can take another leak. Love that for us. Wait, did I feed my pets? Okay, good. Mashal is One Punch Man by Harry Potter, and it's so funny. The main character has no magic, but he's so strong and physical, so he goes muscle magic and then punches them. It's so funny. You should watch Mashal. Oh, my brother was telling me about this. No, because that sounds so good. Like, love me a good magic anime. And then, like, that just sounds over the top and silly. And, yeah, I need that. Oh, my God. Thank you, Strawberry. Okay, so I gotta watch Mashal. I need to watch Apothecary Diaries. And I need to watch Free Ren. Oh, you know what? Okay, it's not one that I've, oh my God, is my cat wearing my hat? Wait, did I give my cat the hat? Because I won the hat. Did I accidentally put the, I love that. Can I take it off of, like, I'm so confused. I don't think I did that on purpose, but I love it. Excuse me? I don't remember what I was talking about because I got so distracted by the cat in the hat. Hello? That's so cute. What the heck? Oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys something fancy. You probably have all seen it before. Wait, are these all basic windows? Basic, small window. Yeah. I want the basic window. Basic. So basic. Get out of here, small window. I've been watching that time I was reincarnated as a slime, but the fan service is low-key killing me. Oh, yeah, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Slime, and then I watched the movie, and I liked the movie. I haven't seen past that, though. Okay, so I got this mod, and apparently you can make your windows all cute and fancy and witchy and lovely. So basic windows, look at these options. I kind of want to put this one. Oh, but this one's with the windows open are really cute. But this one with like the blossoms, or I could have like the moon, or this one. I'm gonna do this one, and then I paint it. Oh my God, it's so cute. It's so cute. Hello. I love it. Okay, and then we put it on the paintbrush. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, and then, and take the coffee table. Wait, this isn't a coffee table, is it? Dang it. Where's the coffee table? I need a coffee table. Stat. Well, just know, I could have done some really cute things. Texture copied. What? Am I just copying things now? What is happening? Okay, but yeah, I could have turned it into this like really cute cauldron. I don't know how you deciding which window to use can be such a pain. That's so true. A real pain indeed. It's so clear to see. All right, we need to put this away. I need to clear up some space. Like, look at my inventory. Oh, it's so messy. Oh, dark highlight shirt. Did I just get that in that cavern? Hello. Hello. Okay, it looks like we got a couple of days before my barn is upgraded. B, it seems like you're starting to get close to some of the townspeople. If you want to show someone you're romantically interested, you've got to give them one of my beautiful bouquets. I'm selling them out for a very fair price. If you want to start a family someday, it's the first step. Take notes, everyone. You want to start a family, you got to give them flowers. He's a big fan of leeks. Could you bring me one? Granny Evelyn, of course. Oh, sweet dreams, lol. Thanks for hanging out, my friend. So good to see you. Appreciate you so much. Sweet dreams. Okay. I'm dying. My cat with the hat is the cutest thing. Holy smokes. You know what, my friends? I am so sorry to be like so abrupt about this, but I just realized it's after 9. And I have plans with my roommates to watch the new Fallout show. And they go to bed kind of early, so we're gonna start that pretty soon. And I want to go make some tea and get cozy before we start the show. So I think this is probably where I'm gonna end my stream for the evening. But before I do, are you guys time to go on a little raid and find somebody who's streaming and give them all of the love? Pass on the party. Oh, thanks so much. It was so nice meeting you too, Space Goat. If you guys would like to know when I stream next, I do have a Discord, and that's where my going live posts will be. And I'll post a schedule when I have one. My schedule has been kind of erratic. So I'm trying to stream 2 times a week. And then every other Monday, I host a movie night in my Discord, and everyone is welcome to join us. We're watching all of the Studio Ghibli films. We just watched Howl's Moving Castle. We've seen Kiki's Delivery Service together as well. We watched Castle in the Sky. Yeah, but you're totally welcome. Oh, we just watched Totoro the week before too. Yeah, but anyways, that's the best place to keep up with me. I'm also really active on Twitter, or X as literally no one says. Yeah, there's that for all of our new folks and old. If you wanna keep in touch off of stream, I'll probably stream next week, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday again. That's been working out really well for me, and it's been nice, and I hope that's been good for you guys too. It has been so nice catching up with you guys and playing games again and streaming a little bit more regularly. This has been lovely, and I'm really, really happy to be back. And hopefully, guys, soon, I think my PNG tuber is almost ready. My artist said like 2 weeks-ish. So we'll see. I know it's like a thing in like the VTuber space to do like a launch. So I'd like to like have like a little stream celebration when that does happen. I think that'd be really fun. Have a little party all together. You know what? Are you guys down to raid somebody new? I want to see, maybe raid somebody who's playing Stardew as well. It'd be fun to do. Or if I've got any friends streaming right now. Who's playing right now? What's happening? It's kind of a quiet evening. You know what? I know who we're gonna raid. We're gonna go raid one of my wives. We're gonna go raid Digipop. We were talking about Final Fantasy earlier, and tonight she is playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake. She's playing the first part, so let's go give her lots of love. If you guys would like to make this a super strong and magical raid, please copy this message. Also, just be aware I'm about to get roasted because they made a copy paste, because one time I copied my own raid message, but I copied everybody's details with it, and it looked real funny. So just be aware. That's what happened. I'm a fool. But what else is new? I adore you guys. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for the stream. Dream, it was great to see you. Jess, Nat, oh my goodness. We've got Teckle, we've got Strawberry, we've got Lowell, we've got Space Goat, we've got Alp, we've got Kirby. Thank you so much for our mods helping out with us today. I appreciate you protecting the stream and the hive. Mel, thank you, friends. I'll see you guys over in DigiStream, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! No, I'm back. I gotta say goodnight to Warlock. Oh my gosh, Warlock and Strenuous. Good night, you guys. Thanks for Raiders, Mythical, and Rocks. You guys are the best. Kendi, thank you for raiding too. I'm just gonna keep talking until we get raided out of here. You guys, thank you so much. Okay, they're kicking me off. We got 7 seconds. I'll see you over in DigiStream. Bye.